This episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Make your own website and check out squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and the free trial today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast, where we totally didn't make up the sponsor bumper or anything because the WAV broke.
It was great.
No way.
Yeah, it was fine. It's like, oh dear, this isn't good at all. Ignore that. Nothing happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Good God.
Nope.
That's the kind of feeling you don't want when a show starts. Like, everything's gonna go wrong today, and this is just a portent of that.
I couldn't tell. It seemed normal to me.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have brought attention to it, really. That was actually a mistake,
You should
wasn't
consider
it?
a career in ad reading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just go with that. It's God
You
knows.
should do podcasts.
Yeah.
Have you thought about
Have you
that?
thought about that
Yeah.
before?
I'm becoming a
You should
professional
have a-
dog poster, but
Some kind of a radio show.
But maybe like on the internet because it's more accessible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah, so you can be your own boss, right? Yeah.
Oh dear. This episode of the Co-optional Podcast, of course, brought to you by Squarespace. Go check out squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and a free trial. Hell, you want an example of a site I made? StopWhiningAboutTheDogs.com. I made that site like yesterday. It's a real site. Even I can do it, and I'm an idiot. Endorsement.
Stop whining about the dogs.
Yeah.
I don't-
StopWhiningAboutTheDogs.com.
What
I
are
got
they whining? What are they? How are they
apparently I was
whining
posting
about
too
the
many dogs. I was posting too
Who's
many dogs.
whining about dogs?
I was posting too many dogs on Twitter. People whined about the dogs, so I made a site that said stop whining about the dogs.
Is Stop Whining
Wow.
About the Dogs just a site that links to every piece of media that you put on Twitter?
Well,
Because that would
only
be
my dogs.
I'm
amazing.
gonna go to it. What's
Go
on
to
there?
it. Yeah, it's like loads of videos and pictures of my dogs. That's it. And we made a banner that had like a really upset
Oh,
neckbeard being licked
yeah.
by both dogs. There you go. See, pile
Look
of
at all
dogs.
these dogs.
Look at all
That's
these
a good
pictures of
banner.
dogs. Yeah,
Oh, I like that you have sections of pictures of dogs and videos.
and
of
videos
dogs.
of dogs. Yeah,
Ah.
Dude.
You get some titles in
Together,
there.
because what if you're looking for one?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, we want to make
That's
sure that you
archaic.
get exactly the feed of dogs that you want.
These are really cute dogs. Dude.
They're good dogs. I like my dogs. I'm very proud of my
They're good
dogs.
dogs.
Can
10 out
we
of
make
10
this,
dogs.
this
Good dogs.
entire podcast just about these dogs so
They're
that
good
when
dogs,
people
Bron.
complain, we can link them to stopwhiningaboutthedogs.com?
Oh, we can actually. You know, that'd be entirely fine. That would be a good thing. Apparently, we're supposed to occasionally talk about video games. So I'm told, but
It would not
it would be
fine.
great. People would watch the hell out of that, and you know it. You absolutely know it. They'll watch anything we do. If they've proven anything over the past 250 or so episodes, or God knows what, they will watch any old bullshit. It's fine.
Dogs are not any old bullshit. How dare you?
Yeah, they're
Any old bullshit,
They'd watch any old
True enough.
bullshit.
anything.
including this show.
Yes, especially this show. Coming back to this show after God knows how long, it must have been years. Alanah, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Yay!
What's up?
Not too much. You are not in Aussie land anymore, if I recall correctly.
No,
You're
I live
out
in
of the
San
colonies.
Francisco.
Mm.
Why did everyone gasp? Is it because it's
Because
so
that's
expensive?
one of the most expensive
expensive
cities
places
in
on the planet.
America.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this Games Journo thing must be doing pretty well for you then. Ah, I see.
No,
Yeah.
not really. No.
Okay, 1%er. We get it.
I gasped
Nobody here
enough
can
for
afford
both of us,
anything.
Jesse.
No, that's very clear.
Rest. I was like, killing it.
Oh, my.
Yeah, no, it's a fun place to live. Yeah, when you aren't like struggling with crippling rent. But aside
Yeah,
from
is that.
Right.
it's been good. And this past weekend has been the warmest weekend I've ever been in San Francisco. Last weekend it got to 100 degrees. For Celsius friends, that's like 40 degrees, which never happens here. And I was like, yay, it's so sunny. And then I found out that it was a result of Hurricane Harvey. And the only reason that we have good weather is because of a catastrophic natural disaster. So it's just been like very hard to be happy about that.
Right. Yeah.
I discovered this week that hurricanes are caused by deserts. That was my knowledge.
What?
Really?
How?
Yes. So, science moment. The wind and the weather in the United States heads west coast to east coast, except for hurricanes for some damn reason. And the reason why is because the desert, Sahara Desert, and all the deserts in Africa, the warm wind meets this southerly cold wind, and they start to spin and go crazy, and then it pushes along, like towards from east to west, and that's why it hurricanes come the way they come when all the other weather goes the other way in the United States. And so deserts, the desert heat, the bigger the desert, the more the heat, the crazier the tornado or the hurricanes get. And so that's why we've been experiencing some crazy effed up hurricanes. So
Interesting.
desert, spoiler, bad thing for planet Earth. Who knew?
Indeed.
Wow. There you go.
I watched like a big video on it, and then I read an article, and that's two sources.
You did research.
Did you guys
You
know?
should be a journalist.
Wait, I have science.
No.
Can I add some science in?
Yes, please.
Did you know that turtles can breathe through their butts and they pee out their mouths?
What?
Wow.
All right.
Look it up.
I don't believe
Their
you in the
plumbing is backwards.
slightest.
Turtles cannot pee out of their mouths.
They do.
That's just a Dodger fact.
Look up,
So
do
then-
turtles pee out their mouths? Look it up.
So then
wanna
where are
look
their
up-
lungs if they breathe out of their butts? Does that mean
It ruins
the
everything.
lungs in the back of their body?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I just know that I read two different articles talking about this.
This whole I read two things is going too far now.
Were they like The Onion and clickbait.com or something?
Yes. Clickhole. Clickhole's
Clickhole,
great,
that's
by
it.
the way. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Clickhole. That
Turtles
News
pee
Thump is the UK
out.
version. It's very good.
Their mouths.
Turtles
I
pee out their
don't
mouth.
believe you, and I never will. Like, just on principle.
Peeing out of the turtle mouth helps the species stay healthy, scientists
God
suggest.
damn it.
The Chinese soft-tailed turtle is
I
the
don't want
first
you to
animal
be
known
right.
to pee via its mouth.
Okay, that's one turtle though from China. That's a China turtle.
He's just giving the other turtles a bad name at this point.
Yeah, giving other turtles a bad name.
Absolutely.
It's literally called turtles urinate via their mouths.
Hashtag not all turtles.
NationalGeographic.com.
I don't
Their
believe
mouths,
you.
Thank you very much.
Hashtag not all turtles.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't lump them all in with this freak.
How dare
This
you?
freak of
Turtles
nature.
breathe with their butts.
This hypocrite.
Okay.
All right. The Australian white-throated snapping turtle
Of course he was
is
white.
also called the bum-breathing turtle.
Damn it,
Oh my
Australia.
God.
It
I mean, I
gets
should have known it
70%
was
of its oxygen
Australia.
through its
But this is
cloaca.
one turtle. You are.
Yeah, okay. I found an article that says weird turtles are wired backwards. So it is only specific kinds of turtles.
Yeah, you can't say all. Like you blew my mind for a minute, and you were full of lies.
To be fair, she did just say turtles.
Yeah.
She didn't say all
I didn't
turtles.
say all turtles. I just said turtles. Did you know turtles breathe through their butts
Did we just
and
have
they
a
pee
real
out their
life
mouths?
Twitter fight? That's not how this is supposed to work. We had more than 140 characters. We could have communicated. We could have communicated.
Part of
this.
my mouth is numb.
Anyway, video games.
Video games, yeah, I've been told that's a thing. Since you were last on the show, you've been working with quite a few different organizations on this particular subject. Who are you working with at the moment? I mean, you're doing your own content on
Turtles?
YouTube.
What?
No, not turtles. That is not the subject at hand here. Damn it.
So right now I work at IGN Entertainment. This is our brick wall behind us right now. I'm
Indeed.
currently in the
Nice,
meeting
nice.
room.
Very San Francisco.
It is, yes.
I think I've seen that
Can't
particular brick
afford nicer
wall.
walls.
Yeah, last time I went in there, God, about 5 years ago, when they still had an esports division before they shut that down. Yeah, pretty sure I've seen that brick wall before. That and don't they have a
Yeah.
room that's kind of Mass Effect themed? They still have that? I guess not. They probably
Not
got
Mass
rid of
Effect
that.
room. My favorite room here is actually the portal room, and that's because I'm always here late at night. Like I never finish at 5, and we have a GLaDOS that's like kind of in the ceiling of that room, and just every now and then she says things, and I'll be
What?
sitting in the
That
lobby,
sounds amazing.
and she'll just be like, "Are you
That
still
sounds
here?" I'm
annoying
like,
as hell. That's terrible.
It is terrifying, but I also love it. It's pretty
Yes, that is awful.
good. Yes,
Don't do
and
that
great.
ever.
Both. It's both.
Yeah, great and awful.
Yes.
Yeah, we have like
Indeed.
Tetris rooms. There's a Uncharted room. There's a Fallout room, a Bioshock room. The Bioshock room's really just a lot of clouds and some some paintings. It's like, how do you really decorate for that without just having people on drugs? So
I mean, they mostly just
interesting.
ship a bunch of promotional stuff to that office anyway. You just put things around the place. It seemed like they had way too much of that. It's just
we have to
drowning
throw
in
some
it.
stuff out.
Yeah, they need the warehouse
we
for it.
have a bunch of giant dildo bats that were sent with, I think it was with
Saints Row 4,
Saints
I think.
Row.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Saints Row,
Yeah. You guys also have the dildo bats?
No question. I want a dildo bat. Can you send me a dildo bat?
Fun fact, one of them went missing. Who took home the dildo bat?
Really?
No. Jesse Cox.
I don't own a dildo bat, but I want a dildo bat.
There's in the
It's like
market
big
for
and
one.
purple.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
I'm aware of what it is. I've played Saints Row. I know what I'm getting into.
Indeed.
I want a dildo bat.
I think we've now know why Agents of Mayhem was such a colossal flop, because none of
dildo
that.
bats.
Yep.
No dildo bats.
No promotional dildo bats. Good
Or
God, that game had
multiplayer.
no impact at all, did it? Holy shit.
Even then, it seems really weird to me that game didn't have Saints Row branding. It's the same thing. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, hey, we totally don't want to make a new Saints Row game, but we still want to connect it to the Saints Row universe in some way, so we're gonna half commit to it.
Why no multiplayer or
Because
co-op?
that's not what it's designed for. Like, it's honestly, like, the whole point of the game is that you're switching between these different hero characters, right? If you put co-op in the
with
game,
another person.
yeah, but you don't. Then it defeats the point of the exercise of switching to the thing that you need, because the other dude is the person you need now, right? So then it's just another class-based first-person shooter or third-person shooter.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
that's
I thought
why.
Saints Row 4 was really fun. Get Out of Hell was hot trash, and then Agents of Mayhem is just like a separate thing entirely. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they were to make another Saints Row game, I feel like I would want it to be more like 3, but...
What, kind of go less off the edge of craziness and go back to a bit of reality, might make a more gangster-oriented thing?
Yeah. But I did like, that 4 was kind of like prototypey, in that you just like jump and glide through a city, which I think is really fun.
It's
just
a great
not
superhero
necessarily-
game.
It is. It's just not necessarily a good Saints Row game.
Yes, I think I would probably agree with that one. It went in all sorts of different directions. I was fine with it. Yeah, I don't know. It would definitely be nice to maybe see a game go back to the gangster roots. Saints Row 2, I think, did a great job of that. And maybe a more modern version, because that game is broke as shit now. It's not worth playing.
It's been like an interesting... Like games that have come out this year, there's been some like weird flops. Like Lawbreakers over the weekend had like 47 players online at one point.
Yeah,
it was that's so brutal.
I feel like there's been more attention to Lawbreakers not having players than people that actually want to play Lawbreakers, which
probably
is a bit sad. Very sad, actually, because that game is good, but let me put it this way. Whoever said to the Lawbreakers guys, we really want a non-free-to-play, multiplayer-only, arena shooter-like thing for $30 was bullshitting them. That people do not want that at all, and I think they're going to have to go free-to-play or massively drop the price sooner rather than later. They have to. Yeah, because I mean, now we're at the point where there's... Yeah, because now we're at the point where the matchmaking's compromised. Like, I've always said, you don't need 100,000 players to make a successful game that's still fun to play, but you do need a certain number, because at that point, the matchmaking goes to shit if your numbers are too low, and they don't have a proper server browser, so you can't use that either. I like that game, but obviously not enough other people did or were willing to put the $30 in. What's interesting is the retention of it. Like, you see, when it came out on Steam charts, you see like the concurrence for it were on PC, 7,500 all-time peak. What happened? Like, the plunge after that was massive, absolutely huge.
And when did it start dipping?
Immediately, within a week. That dip is unhealthily bad. Like, that's worse than Battleborn bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
Ouch. It is, because it's a good game, in my opinion.
I never had any interest in it, so I never even tried it.
Yeah, I think there's a limited audience for what they were trying to get at, which is, well, we're going to have 1 foot in arena shooter, we're going to have 1 foot in class-based hero shooter. To me, I kind of dig that, because a lot of what Overwatch has become is not sort of what I'm looking for out of a game anymore. Like, I was looking for the more individual rewards for skill and less, this is a team effort kind of thing. But apparently that's not something people want at the moment.
I haven't played Lawbreakers either. Is it like gimmicky at all with the gravity stuff? Does that feel gimmicky?
God, I did not mute my videos, and I'm very, very sorry for the people I just deafened.
They've just been listening to dog videos for like
just
this entire time.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. So I think it's a good use of your time. The problem is, like, it feels gimmicky to people that don't understand it, and the game does a real shit job of teaching it. The tutorial is utter fucking awful. It's useless.
Maybe that's why the retention rate's so bad.
I think it's got a lot to do with it, because a lot of people just they float around in the zero-G thing, not understanding it and feel, well, this sucks. Like, once you get the hang of doing the zero-G and chaining the moves together, you can go super fast, you can fight in midair, it's really cool. But the problem is the game, like, needed to really emphasize that point, and they totally
and it's
did.
only in the center of the map, right?
It's in a couple of places. It depends on which map. There's a really good map. I can't remember if it's Vertigo, where almost the whole map is that, and it's just like... It's like 2-4. There's a base here and a base here in the middle of zero-G, and it's awesome. Because you just
cool.
Yeah, you're catapulting yourself across the map and fighting in midair. It's cool. But a lot of the maps are not designed that way. And it does feel like they just threw the blobs in of zero-G just kind of willy-nilly. It sucks. Like, some people play, Cliffy B got angry on Twitter. That's why people don't play. Oh, for fuck's sake, no. That's not why people aren't playing. Most
people wouldn't even know. I mean, it wasn't marketed that heavily either. Like, most of the ads I saw were just at places like PAX, where they're competing with a million other things, you know?
Yeah, they had a big booth at PAX, and people did totally come and play it, and they had fun. But that doesn't translate into sales. And it doesn't translate into awareness. I think maybe we're going to see people outside of, like, the indie devs maybe realizing that PAX might actually not be the best place to expose your game anymore, especially not in a big way. Like, you can definitely get some... Like, things like Anti-Hero, we would have never known about Anti-Hero unless it had its little indie booth, right? And we all played Anti-Hero as a result of that indie booth, because we all got to see it there. Tooth and Tail, which is a game I'm going to speak about today. We all played Tooth and Tail at a show as well, and that's why we know about it. But for big games, I don't know how helpful it really is to spend a shit ton of money at PAX or E3.
Have you heard of CoxCon? I feel like that's the place. That's the place, guys.
We've exhibited games at CoxCon. It's worked pretty well. Like, because we got that captive audience. It's like, you got nothing better to do. Come play our games.
Play those games.
It's not very expensive either.
Yeah, because I think pretty much anybody that you talk to, it's like, well, either I can waste my entire day in line for a AAA game, or I can play like 20 smaller games.
Also, what people respond to a lot at conventions, especially big ones like PAX, is when they go to play a game, having a dev there or having someone who's like thrilled you took the time out of your life to play their game. And a lot of the big ones are like, get them through. All right, there's your 5 minutes. Go, keep going. And you feel like, I just waited 3 hours for what exactly?
Yeah.
And I get that. I understand that.
And I feel like a lot of the strategy with PAX is to just have a really cool booth, just so it gets in as many photos as possible, like have it towards the center of a hole so that that's the way they advertise. But like people at PAX West were lining up for ages to play Far Cry 3. And it's like, I feel like most of the people in that line, people in that line already know that they're going to buy Far Cry 5. Like, it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Primal. What's it fucking called? Far Cry. What's the name of it?
5.
It's 5 something, isn't it?
5. It's just called 5 right now, isn't it? If it was the recent one, they were definitely doing 5. Yeah, because they had the big booth and they were giving away the badges and everything.
Yeah.
I do wonder how effective those shows are, and really, is it a better idea just to like put something on stream at a press conference, or maybe do your own? Like, I really do think, especially after Devolver's non-press conference, but then they did the big 10-hour stream with Twitch, that we're maybe going to see a few more people kind of go that way.
Nintendo does a really good job of that. Like, I enjoy the directs, and they're a lot
shorter.
It's like concise. But then we had the Apple conference this morning, which was 30 minutes of old white dudes talking about how they're changing the name of Apple stores to Town Squares.
Town Squares! So what the fuck? Is that Animal Crossing now?
A little bit.
Point of order.
What you got?
I watched that, waiting to see what the new phone would look like, and it looks just like the old phone.
Of course it does.
Except they're like, it's glass now. And I can't.
But she's got a new hat. That will never get old, so that quote's still good.
They're hype about. iPhones.
They're making it glass
yeah,
so
it's
that when you
glass.
drop them, they just shatter.
Of course, because then you have to buy another one.
I don't know.
Or buy
I don't know how
AppleCare.
this works. I don't get it.
Because shit isn't breakable enough already, apparently.
They're like, and we have a new processor, and everyone's losing their mind. I'm like, that means nothing.
No,
That means nothing.
stuff has
They're
new
like-
processors in it all the time. The only thing, the thing I'm very kind of excited about with what Apple's doing at the moment is they're pushing high refresh rate. That's great. They're saying, oh, look at what this does at 120 hertz or even 240 hertz. I'm like, yeah, because if you get the mainstream market understanding that, then we're probably going to see more people push towards it. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
They're also dabbling in AR. There was an AR segment that I didn't think
Yes.
looked particularly good, but if
Yeah.
Apple is investing in it, it brings it to more people's homes. People are more familiar with it, so that helps the industry as a whole, which I'm totally cool with.
All right.
Yes.
Chat. God bless you. God bless. They're like, Jesse just saw
are you
the
going to
8.
start a
The
fight with
X
my
looks
chat again?
exactly
God
different.
damn it.
The X looks different, Jesse. You're dumb. All they did was change the direction of shit.
No, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't have the home button either. So it's like,
Oh,
it's
great.
just,
Less buttons. Lovely.
yeah.
I love
What?
the
I'm sorry, I
internet
just
trying to be
looked
like,
at-
Jesse's a dummy, but it's the
I have
same
picture.
fucking-
I have pictures of the iPhone X here right now, and there is no significant change to this fucking at all. Okay, they took another button away. Great. When it
I
comes,
think it also technically is the 10th iPhone.
yeah.
It's just because they've jumped so many. It actually is the X.
Well, everybody
just
knows
weird.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. It's true.
Sorry, I'm not sorry, but they're going to the kind of hey, it's bezel-less, even though it's totally not bezel-less. There's definitely a bezel on that. But please stop with the whole thinner, lighter bullshit. I just saw a Nerdcube's picture of his new big fat BlackBerry. It's a big square. I'm like, that looks wonderful. It has a real keyboard. It's just a square. I'm like, that's great. And look at all this space. Look at all the room for activities. That's wonderful. And it won't break so easily when I drop
So much
it.
room for activities.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I don't care that much about how they look at this point. I want a good camera. I don't want to have to deal with that headphone jack bullshit. And I want to be able to charge it readily.
Yes.
So it's they're kind of moving in the wrong direction for me there.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a phone that doesn't have a headphone jack. That's not
Right.
going to happen ever. So
Thank you.
quit it.
It's absurd.
All right. Also, everyone is saying that it's not iPhone X, it's iPhone 10. First off, if anything
cares?
fighting games have taught me something, it's iPhone
X.
Cross.
Okay, all right, there you
That's
go.
what it's called. Thank
Yes.
you very
It's
much.
iPhone plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
I'd buy that immediately, actually. I just want to point that out.
TV's
rabbit-
like, wait, really?
Yeah!
I'd buy that.
I can't
me
believe one of
too.
my favorite games of the fucking year has rabbits in it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
It's
weird.
so good.
Man.
You
When I
mean
played
like
it at an event
my
for the first
baby
time, I was like,
girl
oh, this
right
is too
here?
easy. But
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Rabbit
way
Peach.
bigger than I thought it was from your picture.
That's what she said.
It's huge.
But Rabbit Peach is hilarious. The whole constant selfie bullshit. She's also a murderous bitch, as it turns out. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything, but she's a homicidal maniac.
yeah, she's a little bit.
Yeah, pretty
She's very
great.
anti-Peach. I don't know. It's just such a cute game, but it also manages to have a good layer of difficulty. I'm so
Yeah.
impressed by it. When it was being leaked and everyone was like, nobody wants this. Don't release this. And then it came
No.
out on stage and we were like, all right,
Yeah, we
keep
do.
talking. And then I played it and I was like, wow, this is very good. It's absurd. Also, that
Gratch's...
Grant Kirkhope soundtrack is just
You know
Oh,
what?
I
The
mean,
man can make a soundtrack.
Yes, you can. I was reading or watching an interview, I can't remember which, of him saying, I can't score a Mario game. It's like, yeah, you totally can, mate, and you just proved it.
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced up until the Rabid Kong battle, and then I was like, yeah, your music is on point. I love a
He's so
good
good.
orchestral soundtrack, and this is that. Very well done. And honestly, this gap in the market that people said wasn't there, they're kind of clueless. There's totally room for an easier XCOM-like game. Because XCOM has gone the way of we're going to pile more and more stuff into it, and that's great. And I love that, but I also like this too.
Yeah, it also just has the marketing appeal of obviously being Mario. So it's
Right.
there's always room for that. People are going to buy it anyway. And we keep saying it's Babby's first XCOM. It's people
Good.
don't realize that they're playing a tactical game, but they are for the first time. So
Yeah,
it's
a lot
it's
of-
hard to
yeah,
say
you're
there's no
right.
market for it when people are willing to try it.
Yeah, well,
It's weird for XCOM fans. For everyone else, it's great.
I mean, I personally, thankfully, have got to the point where I think a lot of XCOM fans are just playing both and having fun with both and not being kind of elitist about it. If there are people that are, it's like, you know, if we want to get elitist, then we're going to say, oh, well, if you're not playing Terror from the Deep, then you're not a true XCOM fan. Like, oh, God, go away. But why don't we think that Mario could work with other genres? What the fuck was Super Mario RPG, mate? What's Smash Brothers? What's Super Mario Tennis?
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart, Mario Strikers. It's worked with a whole bunch of different genres. It completely works. And good on them. You know, next time, Mario RTS plus Rabbids. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know about a first-person shooter, but
I think it's doable.
how would you make a Mario first-person shooter? What does that look like?
I mean, you go down the route of this is totally not a real gun kind of thing. I mean, Sunshine technically had a gun. It was kind of a spray gun, but you had one. Well, here's the thing. The Luigi's Mansion arcade game is technically a real first-person shooter, and it has the vacuum cleaner, and it's really fun.
And I mean,
so
there's
maybe
like
go that
over
way.
240 or something guns in Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, so it's like
Yes.
we've reached the gun problem. It's like the one thing Miyamoto seems to be really specific about is the way Mario jumps.
Mhm.
So it's like the only thing that he's like, just don't fuck that up, and we'll be all right. He just has to jump in a really specific way. So it's like I kind of want a Mario first-person shooter now, just to know what it would be like.
Sure.
Mario
Yes.
cross
Yes.
Overwatch.
No.
It can happen. Now, just make Tracer Luigi. Don't question this.
Okay, all right.
Tracer's Luigi. Peach is Soldier 76.
Okay.
Genji, Yoshi. Follow me. Don't question any of this. And
This is all bad, by the way.
Mario.
Diva's Toad.
Yeah. Oh, Diva's Toad for sure. Mario is
Reaper.
Reaper. Done.
Are we not questioning it because it's bad?
Yeah.
I
mean-
that why?
That is exactly why. Don't question this.
You go like Peach's
No,
Mercy.
I
I feel like
think we should
Mario
definitely
has to be
question it.
Tracer because he's got to be the main character effectively.
Okay.
No, but like
Who's
I
Wario?
don't think Mario going like, oh, Wario's Junkrat. That's no Roadhog. That's easy.
Roadhog. That was
That's
good.
good.
That.
That's good.
Junkrat.
Waluigi is Junkrat. Yeah.
Donkey Kong is Winston.
Well, yeah, it's obvious.
Easy
Or you just
reskin.
like throw
Easy
a bone
reskin.
and just make it Symmetra because why not? And
Sure, just confuse
go from
people.
there.
Perfect. This is easy.
I
is
hate
easy.
this.
Why don't we just
I hate
make
everything
this
about this. Because it's awful.
Wario is May. Wario is not May. Thank you very much.
Oh, Lord.
Wario's May.
Hmm.
I'm so angry because I was so ambivalent about May until her animation came out, and then I sobbed and I was like, "Shut up, May!
Oh, it's so
Well,
Shut
yeah.
up, May! You're so great!
That's
I want you to save the world."
Oh, dear.
Mhm. I have not played that game in I don't know how long.
Overwatch? Nah, I haven't touched it in ages.
How's Doomfist? Is he weird? Do people know how to use Doomfist?
I heard it
he's
was
pretty
OP
weird.
and now it's not.
Yeah.
He's a little bit weird. I haven't played it in pretty much since he came out, but like him being such a melee-based character does make it kind of
Yeah.
tough. Some people are really good at it. I am not.
I think Mario would actually be Doomfist if you had to. Pick anyone,
Why?
All
just
right.
because of his play style, and he could punch blocks.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Good logic. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
No.
I'm not asking you to come up with reasons why it's
Well,
wrong.
Punch
Come up with
Man
reasons to support me.
is a thing.
That's all.
True.
Mm.
You know, there's that Drake's song that's about Jumpman. I really thought that was about Mario for quite a
Jumpman.
long time. Yeah. That boy's
Hmm.
up to something. Yeah, I
That boy's
really
up
thought
to
that was about
something.
Mario.
He is
Yeah. And apparently it's
fucking Mario.
Mario plus Overwatch.
Oh, well.
I'm the only one coming up with ideas here. If you guys got better ones, you tell me.
Your ideas involve
this is
using
great.
existing IP with nothing original. Come on.
What the fuck is Mario Rabbids then? You baby.
But hey, because Rabid Luigi and Rabid Peach weren't characters until this point. They're original. Totally.
Neither was Wario Roadhog. And now
But Yeah, but Mario characters existed and Rabbids existed.
His
So it's the
logic
same
is almost
thing.
Yeah, but all you're suggesting is take Mario and shove it into Overwatch, which is not a new game. That's just Overwatch with Mario
They
skins.
took Mario and shoved them inside of Rabbids.
No, they didn't. Rabbids isn't a
did.
game. Rabbids
Look, I
is
think
like
the
this
difference
whole.
is that Mario plus
God.
Rabbids Kingdom Battle has Davide Soliani, who's this lovely man who cried when Miyamoto was on stage, and then
did,
we have
yeah.
Jesse Cox, who's yelling at a camera about which Overwatch characters.
You think like, one
Like,
of them's
Jesse,
not
I'm on
acting in
your
good
side.
faith here?
I'm on your
Like,
side. Make the crossover of your
If you
dreams.
All I
cry,
have to do is cry, then I'll cry
Yes.
for you, Alana.
yeah, no, I'm all for
It's
it.
like
now.
Jesse's just doing this to
proud of my
annoy
work.
me, and we know this. Like, we figured this out.
I'm so proud of my
God
work.
damn it.
All right, yeah, I'm sold. He cried, and now it's good.
Ugh. Yeah, so Kingdom Battle is good, and you should probably play it, totally. Excellent
Yep.
game. Love it.
That's where we landed on that conversation.
Yeah,
This game
we-
was good. We're sorry for everything that happened before this.
Yes. Yes, we did take that way out of bounds, certainly. But it is
Oh,
good, and I'm going to keep playing it. I'm still playing XCOM War of the Chosen, and that's still good too.
I haven't played that yet.
It's very good. If you liked XCOM 2 anyway, if you didn't, this is not going to change your mind at all. It's still really nasty, and your guys can get killed at will, and that can be very upsetting. But that's kind of the whole point.
It sounds like XCOM.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, if you don't have that, it's not really an XCOM
But,
game
like,
at that
that's
point.
one of the cool thing about Kingdom Battle is that it can also be really nasty and everyone can end up dead. Like, that's not a thing I expected when I first played it at an event. I thought it was way too easy, and I got into the later levels and was like, oh, this is not easy. This is quite hard.
It works its way
takes,
up.
like
Yeah.
an actual degree of thought.
Yeah, and the challenge levels are pretty tough. The World 1, yeah, you're probably not losing on that. You should probably get it perfect on most of the levels, but after that, yeah, it starts to wind up. And they just like, the way they're just adding more mechanics in, they're very well paced in how they add new mechanics in and how they introduce you to new concepts. And they teach you through level design, like how important flanking is and how important high ground is and how important not standing near the pit against a thing that knocks you back is and all that kind of stuff. And
Being aware of the pipes is a really
Yes.
important thing. And yeah, you definitely learn
you
that
get
kind of stuff
caught up
really
with
slowly.
that. Yeah, very easy to get caught off by that. Jesse, you got anything you've been playing this week you want to throw on the table? Obviously, since I don't think you've touched Kingdom Battle yet.
No. God, what did I even play this fucking week? I'll be real with you. I took like a week off and didn't do shit. So
God damn
I'm gonna
it.
say
Can
I didn't play Jack. I don't remember playing anything this week.
Great.
Can I back Jesse up on something from last week?
You can give it a try.
So I played Rock of Ages 2.
Okay.
Hilarious in concept, hilarious characters, very funny sequences, and the gameplay gets very repetitive.
You just
Thank you. That's all I'm
don't
saying.
like the game then. Yeah.
I also rage quit and will never touch it again after that boss battle that's basically Frogger. I was so furious. I was so furious at that boss battle that I was like, oh no, the game crashed.
Yeah.
God, that's so sad. Doesn't it suck when games just crash that way? I guess, man, probably won't come back to that.
There are...
I hated it so much.
It amazes me with all the other stuff that you play that's definitely rage quit worthy. Rock of fucking Ages was the one you
Because it
decided.
didn't feel like it was my fault.
Really?
That's why I was pissed. It didn't feel like it was my fault. It felt like I don't know. It felt like there were too many variables about the game that like were intending to piss you off and make things more difficult than they needed to be. It just wasn't fun for me.
Look, yeah, I'm with you on that. I just couldn't get into it no matter what. And I wanted to because it's hilarious. The game is fun,
It's super funny.
but it's just not a gameplay mechanic that I will ever try again.
At least try and multiplayer 4-player. I was watching Northern Lion show. I don't even remember what it's called because it's not that important. But I was watching his show and they played it 4-player and it was really fun chaos. Maybe play it that way instead of doing the single player. Just a suggestion.
I haven't played it, so I'm just looking up screenshots, and it looks fun.
I mean, it's a mixture of tower defense and bowling. So if you're not into those things on a background of like weird Monty Python-esque false history, then this is probably not a game you'd find entertaining.
All of it sounds good to me.
That is, if you're into the whole bowling aspect. And there are some boss fights which are absolute dicks. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But multiplayer, I think, is excellent in that game. But hey.
I can actually talk about the game Morphgirl, which I truly want to talk about because
Morphgirl was that?
Holy shit. Morphgirl is an FMV horror game.
Right.
Done in the style of like Japanese lost videos that if you watch them will murder you kind of deals.
Okay.
The premise is that you are a woman whose wife has died, and you experience like massive depression in the year following her death, and then on the anniversary of her death, some crazy demon comes out of your bathroom and like stalks you.
Well, this sounds like a bag of laughs.
What?
Yeah. It's a game where you find yourself a lot of the time being like, why would you do that? What, like, just the character, even though it's FMV and it's a real person and you're yelling at a real person acting, you're like, why? If someone appears in your kitchen, a ghost appears in your kitchen, why do you run upstairs? That kind of stuff. Like, what are you doing? Why do we
that's
not
a standard horror trope, right?
Yeah. It is very short, but pretty entertaining. I will say one of the endings is laugh out loud hilarious. I won't even spoil it. It is if you can say to yourself, what is the craziest fucking thing that could possibly happen right now? That shit happens in this game. It is bizarre. But there are 6 endings, and I, for the life of me, have only found 5, and I can't find the 6th, so I don't know.
How long is it?
2 hours, maybe, max.
Oh, super short. Okay.
Yeah, super short. And it's very entertaining if you can get past the fact that it's pretty depressing at the beginning when you learn the backstory of stuff. Other than that, some of the choices you make are crazy, just crazy. Like it's you wonder if this is, it's clearly not, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil it. Is it
spoops? Were you spooked at all?
There's 2 scary moments and the rest of it's like not that scary.
Okay.
And in fact, every ending you think is going to be scary is not scary. I can't even begin to describe this game without spoiling it. I will simply say, if you like horror games that are short, but you don't want to get jump scared for 2 hours, this is probably a good game for you.
You guys played Little Nightmares?
Yeah,
Yes.
I loved that game.
Yeah, it's like, you're just making me think of that because it's like technically a horror game, but it's not jump scary or like aggressively spooky. It's just really unsettling. And I
Like
only played that last month.
atmospheric.
Yeah, I loved it. It was like Spirited Away until the very end where it turns into like some other weird horror thing.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it a lot.
I saw
Have
them
you
play the
played
DLC. The DLC is like
Oh
pretty
my
expensive for how long it apparently is.
It's very, very short. It might have taken us like an hour and a half to beat, but like
Yeah.
the DLC is actual horror for me. You know how each area of that game has like a monster or kind of like a monster, whatever it be? This one, because it's in the bowels of the ship where everything's flooded, straight up just a water monster, which is like my number one fear. And so it's
Weird, it's a shark. No.
it stalks you through the entire level, and it is
Like the water monster in Inside?
Yes.
I was pretty scared of that thing at the start.
Yeah, me too.
Because the music trigger, whenever you jump into water, you automatically this spooky music trigger, and then you can see the thing in the water moving towards you, and you have to keep jumping out of it. And if you jump on, say, a block or a piece of luggage or something, it will start knocking it to knock you off and eventually destroy it. And it's like, this is unpleasant on every level.
Water jerks.
Yeah. But it does open up another aspect of the story that because I think once you beat Little Nightmares, you still have that like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And
So apparently you play as the daughter of the woman at the end.
Yeah. If you go back through and play through it, when you go to her room at the end, you can see pictures of the little girl
What?
and the geisha woman. Yeah.
What? Crazy.
So the lore of Little Nightmares is supposed to be something like there's all of these like rich gluttonous people on this ship and all of the children who aren't gross and gluttonous are just like thrown into this crappy area of the ship and treated like crap, and then intentionally forgotten about until they can be turned into food.
Right.
So that also happens to you as the main character, even though you are the daughter of the woman who owns the ship, which is like not really told that well, but it's enough to be able to pick it up. I don't remember the character's name. Yeah, or what the little gnome things are. I don't remember what they are specifically, but some of that stuff messed me up.
No spoilers, but most horrifying part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
From what the devs said, I think the vast majority of the game was supposed to be like just a technical demo to show that they could do stuff.
Yeah,
like piece together in a coherent story, because they're like, let's see if we can do this thing or make this thing work. And I think that kind of explains it, but I hope that these DLC go back and sort of retcon the story enough that we get to see more of it, because so far it's working. So far you're like, oh, I see where they're going with that.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, at least it's not expositional.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no dialogue, which is, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Is there more DLC?
There's a bunch more coming out, but I think just the first one came out.
I should play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game was really good. And you mentioned the other game also, like looking for endings. I'm still trying to find all the endings in Nier. And I got like 7, like 26 or something.
There's like 5 big ones and then a bunch of little ones, right?
Right. There's one for every letter of the alphabet. And there's something that you can guess. Like if you don't do something when it's like on a timer, or you're being like aggressively told to do something and you don't do it, and you're like, this will result in an ending. There's one where you're like kind of being hacked into, and if you just don't do anything about it, that's going to be an ending. So you can guess some of them, and I don't want to look them all up, but it's most of them are just funny deaths, I think.
Yeah, so, we got when we originally like played it right before it came out, like we decided to put it on whatever the hardest difficulty is, died immediately in the tutorial, and the credits just like rolled super fast. We're like, all right, there's an ending, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So funny.
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's like a lot of parts of it that I found really hard because I have tendinitis, which means that any button mashing I can't really do. It hurts me a ton. And I actually got it from playing The Witcher 3. That's what I think, at least. That was the week where it started to hurt. And so there's loads of the combat sequences in Nier that just like killed me. I can't do Guitar Hero. I can't do a lot of fighting games. And I have to, like, in games like Uncharted or action adventure games, if you have to do like button mashing, a lot of them have options for you to turn it off, which is really, really good. But Nier, there was a point where I found out that you could do auto chips. The game literally plays itself. You just turn this thing on and it does everything.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know why this option exists except for when my hand is getting sore. Like, you just press a trigger and they just attack for you. It's so bizarre. Like, what?
That's how they did difficulty in that game. They, I think in an interview they were saying, yeah, some people just want to see the story and can't really deal with this whole spectacle fighter shit, so we put this in that just lets you do that. Which
crazy.
Is neat, you know, because it's nicely sort of out of the way and not a very obvious thing. And if you need it, you can put it on, and it doesn't put it in your face.
It's just like the first time I've ever encountered that in a game, where I was like, all right, well, I guess the purpose of that game is the story. It's really interesting. If anyone hasn't played it, it's like,
oh, it's super interesting.
The sequel of the game is built into the game.
Yes.
It's like you finish it and then you just play the second game like immediately afterwards in the same save.
The first playthrough is not representative really what the game is. Like, it's definitely designed to be played multiple times. I still haven't got around to. I just need to put a couple of days aside and just sit down and go through the whole thing.
I've been thinking that too.
I just haven't got around to it because I know it's very obviously one of the most interesting games this year, and I just have still not fucking got around to it.
Well, you could do a playthrough at a time, and they get shorter every time too. So it's like if the first one's like 8 hours, the second one's 6, and then 5. So it gets easier as it goes. Like, I played through the first one in one sitting and very easily. Like, it's really easy to consume and doesn't get too repetitive, except like playthrough C, you play as 2 characters who sometimes do similar things. But other than that, it's so easy to consume. It's a really interesting game.
Yep. I want to
also
sit
very
down
good
and
soundtrack.
Definitely continue to check that out.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This is something that I took time this week to do while I was sort of out and about. Knack 1 and Knack 2.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
Okay.
Those are video games. Yep.
Question for... Have any of you played them?
Yes.
I played the first Knack.
A bit.
I was under the impression that Knack was like kind of a silly, fun kids game. I
Yeah.
watched the story of Knack 2 and was like, the fuck? This is way too serious.
Yeah,
And
there's
what-
like a part where you have to infiltrate this building, but it's being guarded by all these robots made by one of the main characters' like ex-girlfriends who hates him and I guess just wants to murder him. So you're like trying to break into this building and Knack's the only one who can get through because like the robots will detect him if he's it's pretty intense.
It's
What's going on?
thematically
I was
all
watching it
over
like,
the
I thought this was
place.
a kids game. This is like people are dying left and right. Knack is robots. A guy falls off a cliff. I was like, the fuck is happening in this game?
It just they didn't know what they were doing. Like there's like, hey, we're gonna make a mascot. There's just a bunch of shapes, so nobody gives a fuck. And thematically and in terms of like its tone, it's all over the place, and it just also happens to not be a fun game either. So
I think Knack 2 is a lot more fun than Knack 1
yes,
gameplay-wise.
I mean it
like,
helps
a
that you
lot
don't
more.
die in like 1 or 2 hits. That
Yeah, and there's
helps.
platforming, which is actually like fairly interestingly designed. And one thing that
Yeah.
I do like that it does is you can choose separate paths for platforming. So they're all like physically mapped out, but if you're choosing the easy difficulty, you can see the hard path, but you'll
Yes.
take the easy route. And it's like it's basically all of the levels are actually the same depending on which difficulty you play in, but you see different parts of it. And I think that's really cool. It's
Good way to do
also it makes a lot of jokes about Knack 1 in the places it fixed it. Like there's a character who's like, what? You think you only have 2 kicks and a punch or like something like that?
Yeah,
So
I
it
know
makes
that.
improvements, but it's I don't know, especially the way that the second game is. It's just nothing for anyone to get attached to, which is what I think they really wanted from it, and I just don't. feel it at all.
Well, if they're gonna do that, don't have a character that's just made of polygons, like just
But, like-
shapes. It's something better than that.
It's crazy. Again, I've never played it. I have no experience with the game. I just watched the story. I watched an hour and a half of story, and I was in. I was
Why?
like, what the fuck? I wanted to know, and it got me. I was like, what the shit? But Knack as a character is what you just like. I don't know, like weird triangles and shit. But his voice is the deepest, most Kratos-like voice. Like he is. None of it matches. None of it makes sense.
No.
He's the biggest badass, but you're like, look at you though. There's nothing. You look like you should be like, hi everybody, I'm here to kill you. There's nothing about it that makes sense. I don't care. I was in. I watched all of it. Like, holy shit.
I mean,
Alright.
I didn't finish it, but I think it's supposed to be like a Pixar movie. You know how they have a lot of dirty jokes in them for adults? I think that's the idea with the story is that like kids will like it and they'll think Knack's cool and his best friend's like a young teen or whatever that they can relate to, but then it's got like a bunch of dumb adult things because the whole thing is made with parents and kids playing together in mind. Kinda like a
Will
Lego
they
game.
think is cool though? I mean, I'm not a child. I don't really know what they think is cool these days, but I don't know if a pile of shapes is what they would consider cool. He doesn't seem like a good mascot of any description. Like he doesn't seem memorable in any way.
Yeah, when you combine the two, you can combine like blue Knack and red Knack to if you're playing together, and it just looks like a very deformed Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not great.
No, it doesn't seem like it
Yeah.
is. I don't
Odd
know why there
design.
was another one. Somebody
guess
is really
idea-
attached to that guy.
Yes, there's definitely probably fan art up of Knack somewhere, but I guess like the idea is that because mechanically he shrinks and grows, that they decided to do that with a bunch of bits. I don't really know. You
He's,
probably do that with anything else.
he's literally Twitch donations the character. It's just a bunch of bits. That's all he is. It's a pile of shapes.
Why is there not a Twitch add-on that makes a Knack for you, and then the bits you get become the Knack on your screen? I'm
Yeah,
just
you
coming up
should
with
develop
fucking
it.
ideas
You
today.
go the extension. Go hire a development team. Go make it happen. Go make your Knack. Make your Knack dreams come true.
There are not very many Knack fan arts.
I
Oh, did you
am
look it
not
up? I'm
that
curious.
Hold on.
surprised.
Knack
DeviantArt.com.
Knack
There's not a lot.
No, I can't imagine why there would be.
images.
Knack.
Nobody cares about Knack.
Wow, there's barely any Knack Rule 34. It's almost like no one cares.
No,
you're
it's almost
totally
like
right.
no one wants to see him bone something.
Huh. And that is
Whatever
a
it is that Knack
barometer
would
for
bone.
success, and I wish I was being sarcastic about that, but it really is not any more sarcastic claim. Not whatsoever. My.
Mm.
Yes, so Knack, maybe don't. There are probably better things you could spend your time on. I mean, fuck,
Like
that...
everybody's golf.
I mean, that's apparently good, I'm told.
It is really good. It's actually good.
Yeah.
They came out at a really similar time and like seemingly both like targeted towards kids, but everybody's golf is super fun.
Yep.
Shockingly fun.
If you're not a kid, maybe play the new Yakuza, which is the old Yakuza, but
Yes.
newer. It's kind of great.
So I guess Destiny is the thing that came out as well.
It is. I think if
Destiny
we're
did come out.
gonna go who's actually played it? Because I'm thinking this sounds like a big topic. We should do it after the break. But I don't think anyone here outside of yourself has actually played it yet.
I
I
haven't,
haven't played it.
Oh, nobody's played it. Well,
My grandma's visiting. Or I
Okay.
would have.
Waiting for that PC, yo.
waiting
I'm
for the
gonna-
PC version. Yeah, I'll
I hope
definitely
it's
play
great.
it.
I hope it's phenomenal, and
Yeah.
it will be even better when it comes out on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to play an FPS on a console at 30. There's no point when I know it's going to be out on PC in a month and it's going to be better. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
people
It'll
who
be
like
my
played the PC beta and then are like, fuck,
Yeah,
I
fuck
pre-ordered on
this.
console.
yeah.
Now
You
I
made a
only play
horrible
on
mistake.
console.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it definitely sucks that they don't let you transfer the character over so that you can move to
Yeah.
PC to keep with your friends. That's really shitty of them.
I
Yeah.
cannot stress how good the PC version feels. Like having played it, it is so much better than just like it's
Yeah.
better.
It's also really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of color this time around, and yeah, it's a really pretty game.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you're going to play, a big looter shooter and you want something that feels good and feels snappy and the shooting feels good, you're going to play on a PC to do that. So that's, I'll just wait for that. It'll be my first Destiny experience, and from what I've heard, it sounds like might be a good time. And cool, we'll see how that goes. I don't really have any expectations of it, honestly, which is kind of neat to go into something with no expectations and
Same.
just see how it impresses people.
Did you guys play the first one?
No.
Jesse did. Jesse
My
did.
husband played a ton of it.
Mhm.
I was a fan of the gameplay, but I hated the fact that it was every conversation was like, I could tell you what was happening, but we don't have time for that. We've got to go kill guys. And I was like, fuck.
I'm
There
told
was
there's
also a lot of like your ghost just being like, wait, fight them off while I hack this. I feel like that
Yeah.
was like every single mission.
I heard
played
they
a
just
fair bit of it,
improved
but it was
all of
very
that.
boring.
Like, very
Yeah.
much like, improve the variety, improve the way they tell you the story, improve the way they deliver the lore to you. So
Mhm.
for me, I just care about lots of good shooting and really cool looting, and it sounds like it's got both of them. So,
Yeah. It's got like seemingly more enemy variety and stuff as well. And
good.
the farm, which is like the towers, is pretty cool. You can play soccer. Or
Okay.
football.
Sure.
No, you guys call it soccer, right?
Well, I mean, I call it football, but
Yeah.
Those
well,
those
soccer
heathens
slash
do.
football, and you actually score goals. So that's
like
a
it.
fun part of Destiny. Too.
Have you guys seen the Japanese Destiny 2 trailer?
I have not. What's up with that?
Oh my god,
No.
it's so good. It's
Yeah.
it's
Should I be
like
looking
a
at this?
huge like IRL dance party that uses only emotes from the game, and
All
it's
right,
incredible.
I'm looking this up.
Whoa.
Bringing it up on screen right now so that other people can experience that. Oh,
It's
it is
so
exactly what you said it
good.
was. All right.
it's so good. That's all it is.
I've said, I think I mentioned this on the podcast last week, but I'll say it again. I like how they're not taking themselves too seriously this time.
Yeah.
Because even when I went to the Bungie studios before they released Destiny 1, I got the feeling they are taking themselves really damn seriously with this. And everything about this game seems like it's super serious. There's no room for fun here. Whereas now it seems like they're definitely in for the fun. Like, they're taking the piss out of themselves. And
I mean, they patched out the things that people found fun, like
the loot cave and
the
everything.
Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage stuff, and
Yes.
and those like they patched out the fun things. Whereas this campaign seems to have a lot more jokes in it and
Good.
characters that are
Yeah,
actually
I dig
funny. And yeah,
I dig it.
They're actually characters this time instead of like, I am the commander of your class. Now go do a thing. Okay, see you
Yeah.
with my missions. It's like, oh, we can do
All right.
things now.
Good. Yeah. Well, when's PC version out again? Oh god, when's the release version of that? Destiny 2 PC release date is October 24th. So we're still going to be waiting a bit. Also, that's interesting. My face just replaced Alanah's face. I don't know why I did that, but that's
Yeah.
something I will do. While, I don't know. That is something I'm going to fix during the break because that's clearly broken.
John, you're looking
probably because
beautiful.
Oh, la
it's probably because my
yes, thank you.
connection's pretty crappy.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do about fixing that during the break. When we come back after the break, when we've heard from our wonderful sponsor, Squarespace, then we will talk a little bit more about games we've been playing this week. I think Tooth and Tail is certainly going to be coming up since that is out today. I know Jesse has played that at a conference. I've been playing it. I played it last night. There's some good, if dark, stuff in there. So we'll see how that goes. And other things, and then we'll go on to some news later on in the show. You're watching the Co-optional Podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, squarespace.com/co-optional for 10% off your first order and free trial. We're going to hear from them through the voice of me and my silly ads, and we'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere. Hi, are you terrible at your job? Of course you are. That's the cool thing to be these days. Basic competence is a thing of the past, and any mistake you make is actually the fault of a large horde of faceless angry people, other than any error on your part as a professional, which is why you should create your next website using Squarespace. Squarespace does all the professional for you, with no experience or even basic level of competence required. Look, you're not a web designer, but you absolutely positively have to get your opinion and or product out on the internet right now, because otherwise it'll burn a hole in the back of your skull and flee to the woods. It's gonna start a vegan commune with that guy in the obnoxiously colored sweater from the coffee shop. Thankfully, this is no longer something that you need to consider in your business plan, because you can set up a website in just minutes by heading over to squarespace.com/cooptional, where you can get 10% off your first order and a free trial. Grab a domain name quickly and easily with no hidden fees, jargon, or additional nonsense with Squarespace domains. Link it up to your new website and start posting pretty much immediately. You don't have time for editing or correcting mistakes. You're on the cutting edge of the dialogue of the universe. Your posts shape time and space itself, warping realities in multiple dimensions to your will. You can't possibly wait, and neither can your audience. See your changes in real time and publish them immediately with Squarespace's intuitive and easy-to-use interface. What you see is what you get, and what you see is your absolute cosmic genius. What else could it be? Express yourself with incredible galleries and templates made by other people that you could easily pass off as your own. Impress your colleagues, friends, customers, and potential business associates with just how stylish and sleek the design of your website is by choosing from a wide variety of professional layouts. But what if I run into trouble, you might ask? What if my gifts to the cosmos are impeded by some sort of wall? Something that would be hard for me to jump over? What if, despite clear and easy to follow instructions that Squarespace is absolutely full of, I still lack basic problem solving skills? Well, that's why you pay for a service, so somebody else can solve your problems for you. Get award-winning 24/7 support for any problem, no matter how obvious or easily solved, anytime you need it. Visit squarespace.com/cooptional today for 10% off your first order and a free trial. Tear down the walls, remove the barriers, cover up all the pitfalls, and prevent loss of health due to dangerous enemies by starting your website today with Squarespace. Now you can get back to the business of blaming the rest of the world for your problems, but doing so in style with superb presentation, which we all know makes our arguments more valid. Whether you're building a website, blog, gallery, or online store, get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Capture your ideas today before they start weaving things out of hemp and farming organic kale. It's not good for anyone. It's your responsibility to make sure that never happens. Take responsibility now and make your next move with Squarespace. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast, the show where it certainly isn't a show if we don't have some kind of technical difficulties. So there you go.
It's true.
You know, it wouldn't be live otherwise. Now I just get worried when Alanah's not moving a lot. It's like, is she just not moving a lot, or is she gone?
Or is she gone forever?
I think she is actually gone. No,
I mean,
no, she's
yeah,
back.
She is.
Yes,
Yeah,
oh.
she is.
God damn it. IGN
Yeah,
needs to
it's not
pedal
great.
faster on that
It's
internet.
this specific room. So this is a true story. We had this guy who was like somewhere near IGN headquarters who was in a van that was using a signal jammer on this part of San Francisco. It's like the most watchdogs thing you've ever heard. But because of
fuck?
that, some parts of our building have terrible Wi-Fi, and I'm in like one of the few soundproof rooms that wasn't booked.
Because a
that's-
guy used a sound jammer once.
Some guy, no, it's like he like used it in a van and left it there, and then because of that, it's like they don't know how to fix it. It's like
Isn't that completely
building is
illegal
fucked.
in every way?
It's
That doesn't-
insane.
That does not sound right at all. They shouldn't
I
be
don't know.
allowed to do that.
It's what the experts said. Is,
Okay, all
someone
right.
was like hacking the building and like stopping us from getting Wi-Fi at certain parts. So we had to
Lovely.
make a private Wi-Fi network, which I currently don't have the password to, but that one works perfectly. All of the others are fucked.
Fun.
Great.
Well, so we apologize for that. Cam freezes, people talking over other people because of latency. Yeah, it's a live show on the internet. Welcome to it. We got problems. Oh, well, never mind. A big thanks, by the way, to anybody that is currently participating in so-called September. You can get 50% off your subscription to any of us, if you wish, on Twitch TV. For the first month, it is $2.50 rather than the $5, or your regional equivalent. and we actually get the full amount. Basically, the money comes out of Twitch's and Amazon's pocket, and that's fine by us. So by all means, feel free.
Yeah, it's either if you've never subscribed to us before, or if it's been a long time since you've subscribed to us. Although for Jesse, it's
has to
a
be only
lifetime
just over a
subscription,
month. Yes, Jesse has that lifetime sub, so I don't know how that actually affects him. How does it affect you?
I am unaffected by the whims of mortal men.
I see.
My sub fee is but one time, and then I
Hello.
have you forever.
Indeed, they do. He's got the highest sub numbers on Twitch, and you know it just through that. He just did it solely as a ego boost. It's lovely. But yes, big thanks to those of you using that. And again, don't sub to any other tier on my channel. It's bullshit. I wish I could turn that shit off. In fact,
I
you know
don't
what'd be
even see
great?
the tiers. If I go to subscribe to you, I don't see the tiers.
That's good. I don't know. Hey, if they turn that off, that's brilliant. But I would just like to change the emote to fucking stop it, please, or something like that. I hate that. I hate it. Thankfully, I think there's only like 2 people that did it.
I have the sub tiers, but you don't get anything extra for them.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So
Like,
I'm just
I don't want
like,
it.
if you wanna, I guess.
Don't. Yeah, for me anyway, don't. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back into it. So, you remember before the break, I mentioned Tooth and Tail, which is...
Yeah, I've been so excited for that to come out. Is it out now?
It is, as of today. It is absolutely out. And Jesse, I think, might have the most experience with it because he did play quite a bit of it at a convention. I played a bunch of it last night. So talk about it. Jesse, why don't you tell us what Tooth and Tail's all about?
Yeah, so the premise of Tooth and Tail is that you play as various animals in sort of a communist animal kingdom, I guess.
Okay.
Is
Well, at least one of the factions is definitely that. Like,
right. Well, there's like a workers' party, and then there's like a little rebellion faction, and there's like a military, and then there's a church faction.
yes.
The premise is that the animals of this kingdom have run out of food, and they now are like one of the factions have resorted to like eating other. It's
Well, everyone wants to eat everybody else now. It's like who gets the right to eat everybody else is like the whole plot of it now.
and so
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Imagine a very like one of the factions is led by a character who ate or like gave her own arm to feed some people, I think is the premise. So she's like armless. It's but they're animals and they're all, I'm gonna say cute like animal, but World War I style tropes. And so
There's mustard gas, right?
Yes.
I played it at a demo at a convention, I think, and I remember there was like flamethrowers, mustard gas. It's an RTS.
Yeah,
It was like
there was
bears and owls and
Yeah, there's
it's
a
like very
squirrel.
simplified-
Sorry, a skunk who's got again a gas mask on and is doing that. The flamethrower pig is fucking awesome. But yeah, sorry, Jesse, go back on that. So like, it is an RTS. It's just quite simplified and pretty easy to play.
Yeah, it's a very simplified RTS. The basic premise is you have one unit that you control, which is your commander, and then you go around and you can build farms, which will then produce the food you need to build units. And then the units, as long as like you with one stick, or I haven't played it on mouse and keyboard, so I don't know how it works there.
Oh, it's all mouse button. It's all like use both mouse buttons, hold buttons down, and use the mouse wheel, basically.
Yeah, the basic gist is with one stick, if you're playing with the controller, you're moving your character, and with the other stick, you're sending your army to different locations. And as long as your character can see stuff, your army can move to that location, and then you can provide buffs or whatever for them. And your army can consist of any number of units, but I think it's 5 or 6 that you can actually bring with you to a battle.
It's a drafting system, yeah. There's like a pre-match draft where I don't know if there's picks and counter picks. If there is, that's great. But you definitely pick from a big pool of units, and those are the units you get to build.
Right. And so you can have anything from like, I think it's like a drunken squirrel. I'm trying to remember what all the there's one that had like a lizard with like a staff, and there's all sorts of different cool little units, and each one does something different. There are also you can get things that are like defensive turrets and blimps that drop bombs and all sorts of crazy shit. At the end of the day, it's a super simplified RTS where you only have it's kind of like if you had to get someone into the RTS genre, this is a pretty easy gateway because it sort of shows you, okay, you do have to build a few things, but not a lot. And you do have to control your units, but you really only have to control the one, and then everything else just does its stuff. but you have to know when to run and know when to attack certain things and know when to do this and that. So it kind of teaches you what an RTS is like in a pretty easy way.
That sounds
What does
fun,
it do
dude.
differently other than be animal related?
Well, in terms of how it controls, it's very much in a regular RTS, you're going to be using a mouse and you're going to be bandboxing groups of units. You're going to be hotkeying different groups of units and a lot of micromanagement. In this case, you are physically on the battlefield as a commander with a big flag. And you hold down a button to say, everybody rally to me, or only this kind of unit rally to me, and go and attack this. So there's an example, there's a unit that has a mortar on their back, so you're probably going to want to use that to bombard defenses at long range. So with the mouse, it's easy with a controller as well. I just kind of roll the mouse wheel so that their little picture's highlighted at the bottom, and I'll click and say, mortar dudes, attack this thing, and then everybody else go hit this thing. So it takes a lot of that demand away, and all the units kind of auto-build. There's quite a few StarCraft mods that are like this, where you build a building and stuff kind of gets automatically built from it at a certain speed, consuming certain amounts of resources, and then it just kind of gets added to your army.
Yeah, it has like a very Pikmin vibe to it.
Yeah, or Overlord. If you played Overlord, that was kind of like that.
It looks really cool. Yeah, I feel like I played it very, very briefly at an event because, like, when you started talking about it, I was like, I remember an RTS that has, like, skunks and bears or boars, and
yes.
What else is that? I feel like there's owls.
There is. There's several kinds of owls. There's a big owl that spawns little mice that it drops. It's kind of like an owl bomber that spawns. Right. It's called the Matriarch, I believe. Like, they've all got really cool names. You were talking about the drunk squirrels. They're called the Distillery Brothers. And there's a little backstory that says they are certain of their doom, so they drink acorn whiskey before they go into battle and all the shit.
And they have like a little pistol, and they're like, I don't even care. And they're great. And you can
they're a good swarm unit,
of those and just send them in.
They're good AA, yeah.
The thing that got me into the game when I played it, that kept me playing it for a while at it was like PAX East, maybe.
Yes.
In the India area, was that the multiplayer is chaos. Like, it's total chaos. And to play with people who have never played before, or to play with people who are like real seasoned, and to see that at the end of the day, because it's such chaos, you can be really skilled at it, but shit can just not go your way. I thought that was really entertaining. And so it sort of balanced the playing field.
Yeah, you can do the whole 1v1 thing. They did a 2 versus 2 tournament in the beta. You can do just a free-for-all with 4 players. I think on console, I'm not sure about on PC, but on console you can do split screen. And as a result, it's like, I play quite a lot of RTS, and I cast a lot of StarCraft, so I feel like I'm in a decent position to say, does this feel like an RTS? And at its core, I think it does. I think it takes away a lot of the control and mechanical barriers towards enjoying a real-time strategy and distills it down to what a lot of the core is, which is build an army and hit something, is the core of what a lot of people like. And it does that. If you're interested in complex base building, not really. If you're interested in, like, really precise micro, nah. But there's still some of that. You know, it's important that you keep your commander alive, for instance, because if your commander dies, they've got to respawn, and they respawn across the map, so you can't control your army for a little bit. So there's definitely something in there. Like, they in interviews, they said, we want to make the kind of Hearthstone of RTS. And whether they've achieved that, I don't know, but it is definitely quick, easy, accessible matches, and the drafting mechanic means that every match is kind of different.
And it also has the same silly RNG style, I think, of Hearthstone. I think that's accurate to say that.
Really? You think there's RNG in it?
I definitely think that there's some random aspects. I would not say to single player, and maybe even 1v1, but the minute you do 3 or 4, it's insanity. And I think there's a lot, because you don't know what other people have brought, and you could have one army that is totally cannot fight another army is coming at you all air and stuff. There's a lot of ways to go about it. So then you can even strategize and be like, yo, blue player, let's just take out red. We can work together. I think there's a lot there. I think it's pretty cool.
How expansive is the base building?
Very limited. You get control of these windmills, and they have like 8 farm spots around them, and you can spend money to basically get a pig that works the farm. And it only lasts for a certain amount of time before the farm goes barren. So you have to expand quite often, but it's just a case of take that, and the rest of the base building is, if if there's a unit, it's got a building that spawns it, and if it's a defense, you just kind of build it for money. That's as far as it goes.
Right.
So very basic, but it works.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, honestly, I think it does a better job of being a RTS for more kind of casual or players, kind of breaking that all of those mechanical barriers down better than Halo Wars does. Like Halo Wars, I think, tries to keep a hold of too many of the old ideas that really need a mouse, and then says you could do it without a mouse. I'm like, oh, you really can't. It's clunky. But this will totally work on a controller. Very, very much so. I have enjoyed it so far. I will say I would have preferred if the campaign had more voice acting in it, because the opening cinematic is intense. Like, this game is dark. It's literally like, I will feast on your people kind of dark. Like, I'm going to eat you. It's very like, you know, it's a bit Animal Farm. It's definitely inspired by the Russian Revolution, all that kind of thing. But there are definitely some levels in there that, like, it would be cool if this had a bit of voice acting, maybe a cutscene or two, and some of the levels are not that well designed. There was a really shitty one where it's like, you have to free 15 camps of people, and it's in this fucking maze. I'm like, oh, this is annoying. It's not hard, it just took long.
What's the writing like?
It's pretty good. I just would prefer that it was VO'd, honestly. Like, I think some of it is very good. There's definitely some very grandiose stuff that's said, and there's clearly some inspirations from shit like War and Peace and Animal Farm and 1984, and a lot of stuff about the Russian Revolution, and a little bit of World War One in there for good measure. They're obviously like drawing on war literary influences, but the problem is there's so much of it crammed into such a small space. It would be like nice if maybe just get a couple of voice actors to deliver it, you know?
I'm just saying. Get Dodger in there, voice act a squirrel that's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm letting you know.
I don't think I would take that seriously, but okay.
I would. No one can hear her. She muted herself, and this is great.
Oh,
There we go.
I'm very sad. I'm gonna kill everybody.
There you go.
Yay.
I'm a squirrel.
Definitely got the delivery
Right?
down to a point there. Well done.
That is really good.
Thank you.
Yes. Don't lie to her. It'll just make it worse.
I thought that was a great squirrel voice. A murderous squirrel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
For
right.
the revolution.
For the Viva Revolution.
Great.
Yeah, it seems good. I think definitely if you want to play the multiplayer, it's an easy pickup. If you're just a single player person, the campaign might not be up to snuff. It has its moments, and then there are bits where it's like, this was either obviously designed to be a tutorial or was just not a very well designed level. I have to admit, I don't think there's ever been, outside of StarCraft 2, like a better RTS campaign than the Command & Conquers. You know, people love those levels. They were full of character and theme and the cheesy cutscenes and everything.
Man, that's true. It's been a while since I played an RTS where the story was good. And it wasn't designed to be like, it's the next sport. Like, I don't know.
That's definitely lacking.
Yeah.
Grey
I
Goo
feel like
did
I
it.
liked Company of Heroes too. I feel like I liked that story.
Yeah. That's good. I think they were both really good. Grey Goo did it a little bit. They had some really good cutscenes in that, but the campaign wasn't really long enough and didn't have enough character to it. So I would definitely love to see a more single player focused RTS. There's definitely some good stuff in the Command and Conquer still hold up there a lot. Cool. Yeah, so that game's kind of neat. Expect coverage on the channel next couple of days on that one. Dodger, what you got?
I played a game called Rime. Played all
Oh,
of it.
Rime, yes, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it came out a little bit ago, like
It
a month
did,
ago
yeah.
or something.
A few months,
But yeah, that was a beautiful game. A really, really beautiful game. I know they had some optimization problems when it first came out, and I had a little bit of trouble streaming it. There were some hiccups, but overall, that game is gorgeous. Like, just a really, really nice experience. You play a boy who's sort of washed up on a shore, and it's the sort of game where it doesn't really tell you what to do. It's just like, you're on a beach, so figure it out. Which I'm always down for. And you're just on this island that has these strange structures and like weird creatures and all kinds of stuff. And the puzzles in it I thought were really fun, pretty simple, but like fun. And it didn't take that long to play. It was like, how long does Steam say that it took me to play that game? I'm guessing 6 hours. It took me 5 hours.
Not
So
long enough to
pretty-
justify the $40 on Switch, I think is the answer to that.
Oh, I keep forgetting it's even on Switch. Yeah.
It's really pretty.
It is. It's a beautiful game. $40 for 5 hours, though. I don't know about that. But I did really enjoy it. It tugged at my heartstrings. Not that that's hard. But,
Does it have any combat?
no.
Okay.
There's no combat. There are moments that are more tense than others, but for the most part, it's just like a puzzling experience sort of a game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It looks like kind of like The Witness. It's like the
a
really
lot of people
bright
were saying
colors.
that.
Yeah.
Not as infuriating as The Witness.
It's not hard.
Yeah. The puzzles did not. I don't think any of the puzzles took me very long at all.
Mhm.
But they still felt satisfying, if that makes sense. I
That's
still
good.
like enjoyed doing them. Yeah.
I feel like quite a few of those sort of, they're almost like indie Oscar bait games, sort of just nod to gameplay because they've kind of got to have it. But it's nice to say, oh, that actually had a puzzle that was kind of worth doing. Like, as much as I love Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and I still think it's the best game of all time, that game did not have great, difficult puzzles in it. Like, let's be honest about that. It didn't. For me, that was great because I'm an idiot. But for the most part, yeah, if you wanted to look for a more puzzling experience, that was not it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
I
what a
like-
way out's going to be like.
I am looking forward to that one. That looks like a very interesting expansion of that idea.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about? Sorry, this is off topic. Did you guys hear that the guy who made Stardew Valley is making another game?
I did not hear that. What is it?
Something to do with dating?
I'm so excited. It's a magic school. It's basically a Harry
Oh.
Potter game. You just
yeah.
make your own wizard or witch and you're at magic school. I'm so excited. But I'm wondering, like, because with Stardew Valley, it was awesome because it was all of the things that I loved about Harvest Moon, but then it also had like these really cool interpersonal connections, sort of storylines that were all going on, right?
Yeah.
So with this, literally all I know about it is you're in magic school, you're a witch or a wizard, and you can date people just like in Stardew Valley. And I'm like, but okay, but aside from the interpersonal relationship sort of stuff, what's going to be the replacement for the Harvest Moon sort of gameplay? Like, what's going to be there to really bring it all together and have it be more than a dating sim, or is it going to just be a dating sim? I don't know.
Sounds
But
pretty great.
I'm still jazzed to make a little wizard and walk around and be like, touch my butt. It's going to be great. It's gonna be
Okay.
great. I'm so excited.
I'm glad that your priorities are always in order, I'll say that.
Always.
Indeed. Anything else you've been playing this week?
I did Rock of Ages. I did Rime.
So you could say you rocked a rhyme. Is it tricky?
Oh,
Tricky.
damn.
It's beat
Tricky,
to rock
tricky,
around
tricky,
to rock
tricky.
around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. Tricky.
Well, now I've got that out of the way and I'm feeling better about it. And what else?
I met a little girly. Her hair was kind of curly. I played Alphabear. I played the PC
Yeah.
version of Alphabear.
That's by the Triple Town guys, right?
It's okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
So I've played Alphabear on my phone before. Alphabear on PC is so much better because it doesn't do the fucking phone thing where it's like you gotta wait until you can play again, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally Alphabet. It's everything that I like about Alphabear, where it's like you do this,
This is better.
you do this challenge, you get new bears. You do this challenge, you get new bears. You collect a bunch of bears and you just keep doing word games, right? On the phone, they only make you do so many before they're like, you gotta chill before you can play more.
I hate that.
And on the PC, they just let you keep playing. It's great.
There's been a push lately of devs that have realized phone bullshit doesn't fly on PC. That have like, well, what if we took the game and then took the phone bullshit out? Because people are more willing to pay up front for a game on PC but on iOS, they're totally fucking not. Like, you throw $2 in front of somebody, they're like, no way, I'm not paying $2 for a game on my phone. What was that, an $8 Frappuccino? Sounds totally reasonable, thank you. But on PC, there was the Space Wolf Warhammer 40,000 Tactics card game, which was surprisingly fucking good. On phone was like, there's a bunch of free-to-play bullshit. On the PC, like, there's no free-to-play bullshit. You just pay $15. Like, yay, that's great.
Yeah.
So more of that, please. That would be great. It's interesting to see people adapt business models to different devices and platforms for what is acceptable to that audience.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, the chat's full of bears now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, look at all those sweet bears.
Yeah, what else has Spry Fox been doing lately? I mean, they did really well with Triple Town. They've done quite a lot, actually. They did that Road Not Taken, which was like, it's a roguelite puzzle game thing. That was kind of neat. Oh, and they're doing a massively cooperative bullet hell shooter called Steambird's Alliance, apparently. That's weird. And Beartopia. Beartopia is a cooperative village building game in VR. Virtual bears. So, yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So apparently they're doing that. Also, Panda Poet. A multiplayer word game where you grow and capture pandas by spelling better words than your opponent.
Great.
Also great.
I'm starting to see a common theme here with Spry Fox.
Beartopia kind of looks like an Annapurna game, Donut County. You guys played that?
I
just like
I think so.
you create a series of holes, and you're like a sinkhole in this town, and you have to just like slowly swallow up things. But as you swallow more things, it gets bigger, and the town is just full of like raccoons and like different animals who are like kind of terrified of the sinkhole that's taking over the town. And every now and then there's a cutscene where it'll cut to all of these villagers hanging out inside of the sinkhole and being like, this darn sinkhole took my house, and just like kind of in this little community village. So all you do is just gobble stuff up like a anti version of Katamari, but it's really peaceful. Like playing it is just like, it's like clearing clutter off of something, and all you do is just move around, and it's just something about it is so relaxing that I played it for a really long time. It's like, all I'm doing is just swallowing stuff, and it's great.
Yeah, I daydream about world domination too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But they're all really cute. Like,
I
it's
just
a really
want to
nice
swallow
game.
the world. That's all I want.
And then Annapurna have also, they backed What Remains of Edith Finch. And then they also have that game that's called The Artful Escape coming out, which I think was at Xbox's stage at E3, but I got to play that at PAX East last year. And it's basically it's like if David Bowie met Studio
I remember that
Ghibli
now.
met side-scrolling.
Yes.
The name sounded familiar, and now that you're describing it, I don't think I know what you're talking about.
If you check the stream, I put a trailer up now. Yeah, I didn't remember it until I was like, oh yeah, the guitar and the colors and
this.
yeah.
Yes, never mind.
I do remember
Got it.
this now.
Yeah, and it's an Australian-made game, and it's very, very cool. And when I played it at PAX, the guy had an amp, so you're playing it, and the actual guitar sounds like hitting you in the face. It was
Super cool.
such a great way to demo a game. And it's just like really pretty and weird, and there's dialogue options as well, which I expect that this is going to be a game that's about someone like after a breakup kind of trying to find themselves or something like that, but he ends up in this just, like mystical weird world. It's very cool.
Looks neat.
Aww.
Definitely.
Yeah, so Annapurna Games, because they used to make they make movies, right? Annapurna.
I think so.
I'm trying to look up like the rest of the games that they've backed, but it seems like it's just like a game studio that's picking really good games. They also did Ashen, which I guess isn't out yet either. That looks like Dark Souls-ish.
Oh, it's the one where no one has a face in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to find their other games. It's just a studio that seems to have very good taste in the artsy kinds of games. Yeah. Donut County, Gorogoa. It's Ashen, Kentucky Route Zero TV edition. So just a bunch of really impressive stuff that they are backing. It's very cool.
Very nice.
So originally started as a film studio, and they backed like Lawless, Zero Dark 30, Spring Breakers.
That's quite the selection.
Party,
that is really quite the selection, isn't it?
Detroit, like just a bunch of different stuff.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. feel like it's a Annapurna Interactive, which is the games division. It's like one to look out for, I think.
Sure. That's some good stuff. Anyone else got any games we've been playing this week?
Did I ever talk to you guys about Last Day of June?
No, you didn't. My wife's played that one. She seemed to quite like it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's about it feels very up. You like play this guy and he's with his wife, and his wife is like an artist, and you live through like a day that feels very peaceful. And at the end of the day, you get into a car accident, and you realize that in the car accident, the wife dies, and the husband is wheelchair bound afterwards. And she always like kept all of her paintings in a specific room, and he finally like goes back into that room, and there's kind of this power that he discovers to relive that day as different people in the town. So you spend the whole game like being different people in this little neighborhood, trying to change the sequence of events to make it so that his wife will live, is like the idea of the game. It's fucking
That's
brutal,
really cool.
man. It's a really cool game. It's very brutal. But I liked it a lot. Nobody talks in the game or anything. It's just very like emotive and simple. And
did you play Virginia?
No.
Does anyone here play Virginia? It'd be a weird thing for me to talk about if no one else has played it, but it's kind of like a really artsy, nobody talks, and you're just trying to get through like sort of this police conspiracy. But I wanted to bring it up because I have no idea what to make of the ending still, and it came out I think late last year, and I'm like still like, what does it mean? But yeah, I kind of like playing games when no one says anything. Like there's something really peaceful about that too, even though that sounds like terrifying and brutal and depressing, but still.
I kind of love games where at the end I'm going, what the fuck was that all about? Like Rime was kind of like that, honestly. Yeah. At the end of Rime, I was like, I'm pretty sure I get it. I'm pretty sure I get it, but yeah.
Like the end of Little Nightmares, I was just really sad for a while. Just like oh man.
Oh my
depressing
God.
Day.
I felt amped at the end of Little Nightmares. I was like, that was fucking rad. But I haven't done the DLC, so maybe I would be sadder playing the DLC.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I can't talk about stuff I played this week, but I did play a bunch of stuff at Gamescom. Speaking of RTSs, I played the Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
Oh, yeah.
It's just Age of Empires, really. Pretty much spot on. Like, it's exactly what you'd expect, except that it looks really good. I did play the Xbox build of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is something that I was pretty worried about going into it because I had a lot of questions, and the devs still don't have a ton of answers to them. Like, we don't know if there's going to be, we know they want crossplay, but we don't know if there's going to be the option to choose a console-only server.
Never going to happen
so
unless they
important
do
for that game.
Yeah, there's no way they can do that without segregating those servers very clearly. I mean, it seems like they've got a relatively small dev team for a game that's got super popular really fast, and they might end up biting off a bit more than they could chew if they're not careful.
I mean, if it releases in early access on Xbox later this year, I don't think it's going to come out for a lot longer. I think it's going to take them a really long time to work out all the kinks, but it's just there are a few things that are different. Inventory is obviously slower. Managing an inventory on console is obviously slow enough that playing against people on PC, you're going to get shot in the back and die. Like, that's absolutely a thing that they can't really avoid. But they manage like swapping between weapons pretty well. It's mostly on the D-pad. There's some interesting button mapping decisions, like reloading, I think, is Y, and then interacting with objects or picking stuff up is X, which is a little bit weird. But they currently don't have the option to change any of that stuff. It's they've made the best they can do, but it's just that I can't get past the inventory thing. Like, there's no way that it's not going to slow people down, and that game's so tense. You need the speed in those moments that it's just, there's nothing they can do about it.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully they have console-only servers, but they haven't confirmed that yet. They're like, well, we don't know.
Have to, surely.
They're also aiming for 60 frames a second on console. Good luck.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could barely get it on PC right now. The build's better than it was, but still a mess. Yeah. So, yeah, good luck with that, like you said, while still keeping the view distance and everything, which is really important in that game. That, and they just put fog into the damn game, so God knows what that's going to do.
Yeah. The draw distance is the one thing that was slightly different, but not in any way. It wasn't different enough that it affected anything super negatively. It was just like a little bit
I mean, I guess if it's console versus console and the view distance is equal, it's fine. But if they do the crossplay thing, that's going to be a real mess.
PS4 is also like strongly against crossplay, so it's only ever going to be like Xbox and PC, which is the disaster. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how it turns out.
Just don't. Like, for a first-person shooter, no, absolutely not. It's not a good idea. It never has been a good idea.
Yeah. But other than that, it played really well. It ran like surprisingly well for a really, really early build. So I think that this is going to be like a huge success it's going to sell really well for Xbox. And it's a really good get for them, especially when that console already has a market of people who are used to playing multiplayer shooters for a long time. Like that's really what it is with Halo and Gears. They already have that audience. So it's like a perfect fit. And I think it's going to do super well. But the crossplay thing is terrifying. Like you're just like thinking about it. It's like, oh
no,
I want that.
No. I wonder what PlayStation's answer to that's going to be. It's obviously the battle royale genre is a big money spinner right now, and if they don't have PUBG for a while or ever, is it timed exclusive or they're not getting it ever?
They're not answering that question, and the fact that they aren't answering that question means it's coming to PlayStation, because otherwise they would be yelling it from the rooftops. So their answer is always just like, right now we're just focusing on the Xbox build. Like, all right, aka it's coming to PlayStation later. We just don't know when. Makes
me think Sony's going to try and find an answer to that, because it's just too popular a genre to ignore. I just wonder what that answer would be. Fortnite just announced a Battle Royale game mode. I don't think that is going to fix Fortnite's issues, but okay.
GTA as well.
Probably, and it certainly makes sense if they do. I'm surprised it doesn't have one already. That's a decent way to do it. Although whether or not you can make more money off that at this point, I don't know. Especially if you start, hey, we're gonna have microtransactions in this. Well, that ruins everything then. We'll see. Not sure.
Yeah, I bet they're thinking about it though, because it's such a popular thing right now, and I think that the history of that's really interesting. It's like, Player Unknown's H1Z1, DayZ, Arma 3, like it's just like the way that all of this stuff came out and how it all changed together and what each of these games learned from each other is just like, I would love to put together like a really history piece on like which of these started all of these things. And it's a fascinating genre. I don't know what comes next. Like, does someone make another thing that jumps off of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? Like, does it just keep happening? I don't know. It's interesting.
Hard to say. I think theme is probably the easiest way to manipulate it. It's like, right, well, you've got a sort of modern day thing. Let's go either medieval, let's go fantasy, let's go sci-fi. Let's use an existing license. I was mentioning on Twitter earlier today that Warhammer 40,000's Necromunda setting would be amazing. It's a Underhive kind of gangers and scum sort of thing where everybody's just out to get everybody else. That would be perfect for a battle royale style game. And then people say, well, let's have a Star Wars one. Let's have a Lord of the Rings one and all that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, sure. They could totally do that.
Yeah, I wonder how long it takes to make that battle royale. Because in theory, it's just one mode.
Yeah. We've seen that a bunch of people, obviously none of them are finished. I've said it time and again, I think the most polished one is the one that they did for The Division. The Division's survival mode is very good, and it's a good version of the Battle Royale idea. And it was polished, but that should have come out as a standalone. If they come out of a standalone, I really do think that game could have stolen PUBG's thunder, but it didn't.
Or on launch,
but it didn't. So, I mean, even with H1Z1 still losing out to PUBG, they're still in the top 5 games on Steam even after that. So there's obviously a huge audience for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Does DayZ still rank at all?
Nah.
People still playing that game?
I never really heard about DayZ.
The development's essentially abandoned on it. Like they're at least 2 years behind the stated timeline. It's just a mess. It's a fucking mess. People are claiming that the Battle Royale mode Motor Wars is apparently the name for GTA Online apparently has a Battle Royale of some sort.
Right, yeah, I think that they just came out with it.
Motor Wars, when did that come out? I must admit I don't play a huge amount of that.
Motor Wars GTA.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. There's a lot of people are like, it's not great. It's not as well developed. Yeah, interesting. Okay, see how that goes.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of vehicles. I mean, it's called Motor Wars.
Sure.
But it seems like that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I don't know if... I mean, I love vehicle combat, but I'm not sure if that's what people are looking for, necessarily.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, any other games? Anything? Anyone got anybody else?
I saw a behind closed doors demo of Faye.
Oh!
how was that?
EA game.
Yes.
And I love it. So, from those trailers, it looks a lot like Ori and the Blind Forest. It's like really whimsical and colorful. And so I guess because of that, the first time I saw it, I was expecting a side-scrolling platformer. It is not that. It's open world-ish adventure game, and you play as this little fox, and to get to new areas of the game, you have to learn a language where you communicate with another kind of animal. And you can talk to a small deer, and then as you progress, talk to a larger deer, and then maybe that larger deer opens up another part of the map, or gives you an ability that can let you progress. I keep likening it to the items in Zelda. It's basically just the thing that you unlock by communicating with this thing opens up a different part of the map. And the main goal of the story is that there's these enemies called the Silent Ones who are trying to entrap all of these different kinds of animals, and you have to befriend them and get to their areas and free them all, I guess. And you do come across the Silent Ones. There's no combat, but there is stealth. And I only saw a couple of examples of that, but it seems like you can kind of lure them away with fruit or a distraction, or set up some kind of solution with one of the other species of animals that you can talk to kind of get rid of them. So there's a bunch of different options for that, where it's going to be very puzzle heavy. But for the most part, it's really pretty. And it just feels like you've been dumped in this forest, and it's just hey, go make friends with the animals and come up with your own fantasy. And yeah, I'm really impressed by it. Walking out of that room, I was like, okay, I didn't know what this was. And now I know that I'm okay with not knowing what this is. It's still really hard for me to grasp, but it's very pretty. It's definitely Zelda-esque for sure.
Cool.
And supposed to be 10 hours, which I don't know if it will be. It doesn't seem like it'll be that long, but yeah,
that's all right. That's a good number. I'm glad to hear that something's happening with it. Because we were concerned because it just vanished off the map for a while, but glad to hear that that's actually coming. Dodger, was it you that a while ago played a bunch of Ascension, the card game, that deck building game? Yeah, I just got back into it, actually.
Super into Ascension years ago.
Yeah, it is drowning in content now. Jesus. I picked it up last week again because I thought, hey, I want to play another deck builder, and this one is really good, and the version of Dominion and Star Realms is maybe not so good, so I'll get it. There's 10 expansions now. It's fuck me, and so much.
Ascension is nice because it's so contained, but with so many expansions, I guess, then isn't quite as contained anymore. Well,
the nice thing is you can pick which ones you want, and I'm just going to one at a time. I'm not going to mix them. I'm just going to play a few rounds of this box, and they all obviously have new mechanics. The one I'm playing right now has a day and night mechanic where, depending on which cards are in the middle row, and if they have a day or a night symbol, it's either day or night, and that changes the abilities of some things. So that was kind of cool. So I'm playing around with that a bit. And there's just a lot there now. There's a huge amount of content. I don't think that if you wanted a single-player deck builder, you'd ever need another one if you got that one, unless you just really hated the theme for it. But I'm glad to see that they're still doing well on it. It's definitely very, very good, and it seems like it's up to date. So, yeah, I played a ton of that the last couple of weeks. It's been good.
I used to have it on my phone, and I don't have it anymore. But I wonder how the app is doing.
It's full of content now. I think if you bought any expansions for it, you can restore your purchases, and then there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of discounted. But I think if you want to own everything, it's $30, which compared to the fact that the physical will probably cost you $300 for that much, that's not too bad. So there's a lot there. You don't need all the expansions at all, but there's a lot of good stuff on there. I read a guide as which expansion should I own for this? Because there's 5 million of them now. And there's a pretty good one on the board game subreddit about that. Worth having a look at.
Apparently it was made by a professional Magic player.
Yeah. Quite a few of these deck builders ended up being built by Star Realms was too. There's a couple of pro Magic players made that. And Hero Realms as well, which is the fantasy version of it. It's good. It's good.
I actually played the new Magic digital game.
Game, how's that?
MTG Arena. Last week. Yeah, because they technically announced it at HasCon, the new Hasbro convention.
Yeah,
it's good. I don't really know what to say except that it is Magic the Gathering, and they've tried as hard as possible to both make it easy, flow well, and be as close to playing Magic in person as possible. So like one of the things you can do in it that you couldn't do in, I believe, Duels was you can actually like see when another player is looking at a certain card, and then because of that, like you would be able to in real life, you can reorganize your cards in your deck. So it's like everything that you would normally be able to do in Magic, you can do in Arena, and there's just like a lot of attention to detail to like making it translate well with not just being a lot of text. So for example, all of the cards just have the art basically and the name. The text is written down as soon as they're on the board. They're all facing you so you can see them at all times, and things like Trample is like a series of claws that's just on the top of a card, so you know what their abilities are, but they only show up when it's relevant to play. So you're not just constantly flooded with images of stuff. And the 4 developers in the room all said that between them they'd made something like 10 games, and this is the hardest one they'd ever made. And it was supposed to be just translating this really text-heavy card game into like a one-on-one or a translation as well as they could into a virtual game that isn't just like a simulator like MTG Online. It was supposed to be just incredibly hard to do, and I was really impressed with it. It was super alpha though. There were definitely a lot of things that they're going to change, but yeah, I think that people will really enjoy it.
It is hard to do, as a lot of people have been very critical of how they've done the Magic the Gathering games over the last few years, because Magic the Gathering kind of lives and dies on the fact that it's got a lot of depth and there's a lot of complexity to it, and you're able to respond to things. You can't do that in Hearthstone. Hearthstone was built around the idea that you can't. And that's the problem Magic's had. It's like, well, we could just adapt the game, but then the game's really clunky and slow now because you got to wait for somebody to respond, and how long should they have to do that? And look at all this text that's on the card now. And adapting that, it sounds like it would be really damn difficult while keeping the soul of the game intact without making it an easier version of it, which is not what people want.
And not having it be boring, and having it flow well, and having it look nice. Like it's a lot of thought goes into that. And I feel like they did a really good job. I didn't get to play around with the deck builder, but I feel like I liked the deck builder in Jewels of the Planeswalkers. So I think that's something that they've like done fairly well that they can probably translate over. But it's still supposed to have like 1,000 cards release a year or something insane like that, which is just like, how do you even keep on top of that? Like, it's just crazy.
Tricky.
That's Magic the Gathering.
That it is. We'll take a break. When we come back after this break, we'll talk a little bit about the news of what there has been on the gaming front. So it's been a relatively quiet week outside of drama, which we will, by the way, be avoiding, so don't ask. We will be right back after the break, folks. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Co-Optional Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed the music from Ben Prunty, who is awesome, by the way, from FTL and Gravity Ghost. Gravity Ghost, sadly overlooked little game, really awesome if you happen to see it in a humble bundle. It's a game make you very happy. It has a great soundtrack. You can also play the first
part of it for free on your phone.
You totally can do that as well, which is pretty great. Okay, elephant in the room, I suppose. Let's get this out of the way before we go into other stuff. Obviously, everybody knows about the PewDiePie uses a racial slur on stream thing. We're not really going to talk about that. What we are going to briefly touch on is what happened with Camposanto and Firewatch, following up on that basically after it happened, saying, we don't want PewDiePie to profit from our games anymore, we don't want to have a relationship with him, so we're going to issue a DMCA takedown on his Firewatch videos. So
which they legally can totally do.
That seems to be the prevailing opinion at the moment. There is a lawyer who thinks they can't, but there are at least 2 of them who think they can, and have explained it pretty in-depth. So we're not going to dig in on the legal stuff because none of us are really qualified to do that.
Fair enough.
But I think it is definitely worth talking about the relationship between devs and content creators and what we should do as content creators to not fuck that up. That's probably worth talking about. The concept. Sorry, go ahead.
We have talked about this in a more minor sense recently, along the lines of like, hey, if you're playing a game, put a link to the game in your description, stuff like that, to like, you know, let the devs know we're trying to help you the way that the devs of
That Dragon Cancer. I feel like they listed a blog post saying that they felt like they had such a small amount of people doing that it really affected the sales of their game, because it's a game that you really watch rather than a game that you play actively. So it's like it is a really important thing to do, and people take that for granted. But there's also with Firewatch specifically, like Sean Vanneman from Campo Santo said that he thinks that like PewDiePie probably did help them with sales in some way.
He
So
totally
he's like conflicted
did.
on it as well. And that's a
Yeah.
totally separate conversation. It's interesting.
Yeah, the idea of like, can they revoke the rights? Well, they totally can do that. Yes, people could bring up fair use. The thing with fair use is, one, it's never been tested, and the prevailing legal opinion does seem to be Let's Plays are not fair use. Really, they're not, and we've been operating in a grey area for a long time. Basically, there's a mutually beneficial relationship between the developer and the content creator. In most circumstances, you brought up that Dragon Cancer as a good example where that might not be true, and there you start getting into arguments of, well, this is a very linear game. The way that you experience it on a stream can be very similar to the way that you experience it in the game. Ergo, it's not transformative. So you as the Let's Player weren't really doing anything. And then people say, well, that's basically movie piracy at that point. We've talked about that with cutscene heavy games and all that kind of stuff. It's a legal minefield that, frankly, nobody at all wants to get into. Like, we don't want this to go to court.
It's such a new thing to try and tackle.
Yes,
Except
it is.
Nintendo. They want to get right in there.
Well, Nintendo...
Nintendo's always been in there.
Nintendo asserted their rights very clearly, and nobody challenged them on it. I just want to point that out. People that do still believe that Let's Play is fair use. Nintendo said, no, it fucking isn't. Barged in, said, we want license fees for this, and nobody has got up the courage to challenge them on it. I don't blame them, because Nintendo's scary and big, but were there a valid case there, somebody would have probably tried by now, because that's been in play for several years. Ultimately, most developers realize that it is a mutually beneficial relationship and they shouldn't interfere with it. The problem is that when you start to rock the boat, by not acting like a professional, then you do start to interfere with it.
Yeah, and
That's
I
not a
think
good
that
thing.
Campo Santo's statement said something along the lines of, if this guy is playing our game and our game is on his channel, then it looks like we are endorsing him. And I get that too. Like, that's an image thing.
I don't agree with that, but that's their opinion.
either.
Yeah. I understand where it's coming from, and it's like that's a weird thing too. Like, he was probably given the game for free. Like, what does that mean? And if someone comes across a certain Let's Player who like says something that the studio like morally disagrees with in their video, and that's how someone discovers that game, they associate it with that person, and that can affect a sale as well. It's a weird situation that I feel like there's going to be some legal department is going to tackle this, and it's going to be really fascinating to watch how the laws change.
And the thing is, the law probably needs to change. The DMCA, nobody... we've tried to talk about this, and people accused us of like, oh, you're siding with this. I'm not siding with anyone. I'm just stating what the law is, and the DMCA is a shit show. Like, there's no question about it. It is way out of date. We need to do something about it, but you got to be careful about how you approach that. Because if it goes the wrong way, that can cause a very serious problem for people. So that's why people are just happy to kind of live and let live, and that's probably for the best in many ways, until somebody that is properly tech-savvy comes and completely reworks the law, which at the moment is not going to happen. So... ultimately,
the argument is so difficult because it's like legally, from like a legal standpoint, it's this video would not exist without that game, but that game would still exist without this video, right?
Yeah.
So it's like one person is much more beholden to the other person than vice versa, at least from like a legal standpoint, I think.
Yeah.
like
not taking into account sales or any of that.
It is tricky. And most of the, if there is going to be a debate on that, a lot of it should be, is that the right use for the DMCA? Isn't it? They're, like I said, I'm very confident in saying they are totally in their legal rights to do it. Should they? You know, it's up for debate. The problem, I think, is that it's a big mess. Online, that's not a debate that people can have. They are not particularly savvy on either the law, or they don't want to be. They want to cheer their side.
You can't debate on the internet.
No, you can't. They want to cheerlead their side. Like, that's all they care about. It's all tribalistic bullshit, and I'm not cool with it. I think it's a mess. I think that what we can say as people that have done this professionally for a long time, all four of us content creators, is we're in a privileged position to be able to use other people's intellectual property to make money, and we shouldn't take the piss with that. That's abundantly obvious. We should be acting as professionals at all times. That shouldn't be up for dispute. Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not everyone sticks to that standard. I would say most kind of don't, and that's a separate issue.
And that's why we've got so much trouble on YouTube right now, because a
Yeah.
bunch of people didn't stick to that standard. And I'm sorry to say it, but Felix was one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that, you know, I just wanted to get better. I just want people to treat the job with respect, because that's what it is. It's a job. It's a profession. Treat it like one. All right. That's probably about all we can really say on that. It's shit for everyone concerned. Nobody comes out of it looking good. I think that's abundantly clear.
It's all part of the same conversation and mess that just keeps happening. And I think we are going to wind up at a point where it does get taken to a legal place, and it'll be fascinating to see how that goes. But for right now, it's just kind of snowballing. And we're like, all right, well, that's turning into a pretty big fucking snowball over there. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So that's that. Moving on to something a bit more positive. Okami is getting a big remaster, and it's actually coming to PC, amongst other things, which is fucking great.
I'm super happy about this. I love Okami. Secretly the best Zelda game ever made. But I also
Yes.
just love Amaterasu, and it's beautiful, and if more people get to play it. It has released 3 separate times though already, right?
It was PS2, and then there was a version on Wii, and then there
So
was a
it's 2.
version on
I feel like
PS3, I think.
Yeah. So this is it's weird that it's not coming to Switch when it is coming out on when it was on Wii. It's an interesting choice.
That's odd.
Yeah. But also I'm just happy to have it again. Also though, Capcom really do re-release things a lot. That's a lot of what they do. Like Dragon's Dogma is coming out again, and I love that game to bits. It's one of my favorite games. I'm so happy to play it again, but I'm like, yeah, all right, Capcom, just pipe down. Just do it a lot.
It comes sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've watched a lot of people play Okami, but I've never played it myself, so I'm excited to.
Oh,
It's
you
really
need
good.
to play it, yeah.
Especially on PC, easy mode.
It'll be beautiful. And they said like 4K max settings as well. Like, oh, it's going to be gorgeous. It's such a pretty game as is. Like, that's so great.
Yes.
When did this game come out?
A long time ago. It was PS2,
It's
man.
old, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have a look.
When it comes to re-releases, especially on different formats, I don't really see why people object to them. If it wasn't available previously on a format, then re-releasing it on that format seems entirely fair.
I generally agree. And like, I had this argument about Skyrim coming to VR. Like, I think that's fine if people want it in that format. I don't have any issue with it. The thing Capcom does is, which isn't actually the case with Okami, they release like Dragon's Dogma. And then the year after, they released Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which has more content, or like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and then Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which has more content. So the people who really like the first game have to buy the second game. And it's like, I think that is just super shitty, because obviously Ultimate or Dark Arisen were in development when the original game released, and to have them just like do that sucks. For Okami, I think it's actually pretty great. Like, I'm pretty much fine with it. It's such a Capcom specific thing that they really do this a lot, but it seems like Okami is exactly the same. It's not like people are missing out on any content or anything.
No.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of releasing something that should be DLC as a full-on boxed edition, which, yeah, you're right, they have been doing a shit ton of that over the last 10 years. I just want them to stop. Just adapt to
2006 originally.
Yeah, over 10 years ago. And my God, has that aesthetic held up? I mean,
Yeah.
not that you'd
Beautiful.
expect it to. It's gorgeous, yeah. They did a Kami Den on the DS, which is like, the art style didn't quite hold up there because it was the DS, you know?
Yeah.
That would be nice for a full-on remaster, because that doesn't hold up as well. That could definitely use a good bit of spit and polish, I think.
Man, I'm just looking at screenshots of it now. It's such a pretty game.
Yeah, it's good emotion too. I can't wait to play 4K 60 FPS. It's going to be fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
Such a good game.
Highly recommended. Anyone that hasn't played it when it comes to PC, assuming it's a good port, definitely play it. You are not going to be disappointed.
Amaterasu was actually also in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I totally forgot about that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then First Four Figures released an Okami statue. Was it earlier this year or late last year? Of Amaterasu that was like.
I love First Four.
Me too.
Their stuff is so good and so expensive, and I love it.
Yeah. I just got the King of Red Lions.
Nice.
And like I'm very particular about what I buy now because I live in San Francisco and can't afford anything. And so the King of Red Lions is the only one that I have this year. But the Amaterasu one's really nice. They're coming out with an Amaterasu bust.
Yeah.
Today they just announced a bunch of Metal Gear stuff. So yeah, they're a really impressive company. If you have a lot of money, buy all of the statues. They are very cool.
Yeah.
Everyone else just weeps.
That's where we get all of our Dark Souls ones from. And they're
It's
all
a lot of money.
fucking incredible looking.
Very good detail on them. All right, what else? There were a couple of other things that were worth mentioning. Yeah, so at the moment, it seems like there's not going to be another Arkham game anytime soon.
Okay.
So pretty much said that. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
I don't know where it can go from here. Like, I think it's probably done as much as it can for the time being.
Yeah, it's not even where it can go in terms of like story, but yeah, gameplay. Like it's just after playing 4 of them, I love Arkham Asylum. That's my favorite of the bunch. I know a lot of people prefer Arkham City, but I love Arkham Asylum, and I could still play that again today. But it's just when you played all 4, it's kind of a lot of the same thing. And throwing in the Batmobile tank, I don't think really fixed that. In fact, I hated it.
Yeah,
right.
Worst part of that game, definitely.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Great.
If you're going to keep making sequels, like, well, we got to add some new mechanics in there. It's like, well, yeah, they added one. It's called the Batmobile, and it sucked. Like,
yeah.
Wasn't a fan of that. I think, take that level of polish and respect for a license and take it to another license and see what you can do with that.
Especially when they have DC. And that's, so it's Rocksteady who made those. And then I just keep thinking, like, Warner Bros. Has Rocksteady, but then also has, because of Mad Max, the Nemesis system. Sorry, because of Mordor, and I always thought they should put that in Mad Max, and I totally wouldn't be opposed to having a like Arkham game in the Mad Max universe with the Nemesis system from Mordor.
Dude, that would be like rad.
Yeah, it'd be super cool. Yeah, be like
it's also
intense, but it would be super cool. I'm amazed they haven't put the Nemesis system in other games. It's crazy.
You could just kind of have a superhero, supervillain sort of world with a bunch of maybe minor DC characters, like, oh, you're this hero and you've suddenly made an enemy of this guy, and then you have to deal with him and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you could have like villains, like a thug rises through the ranks, like, I killed the bat, and then he becomes the new supervillain and everything.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I'd play the shit out of that.
That'd be great. Yeah, whenever someone asks like the questions, like if you could have one game made, what would it be? It's like such a ridiculous question. It's very hard to answer, but it's always like, I think that I would do an entire Justice League Arkham game.
Ooh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I would just love that so much. But not like DC Online or anything. Just a full Justice League game would be really cool. Maybe not right now, but yeah.
DC Online was pretty good. Not a bad MMO, all things considered. Yeah, so that.
I just liked making making heroes in that game.
Yeah.
I didn't like actually playing them. I just liked making them.
There was a lot of fun with that. They could have done maybe a bit more with the character creation. I think, like, versus later MMOs, there's stuff like, there's not quite enough here. But I had great fun. We did a full-on series of me playing this guy in a top hat with a staff that went around murdering people. It was great. Some good shit there. Yeah, it was a good game. Still quite popular on console as a free-to-play game because there's still not that many MMOs on console, so you don't have that many choices, really. All right. The number of games released on Steam could top 5,000 this year because of Steam Direct.
Jesus.
We are experiencing the effects of that over and over again on this show.
I mean, we are seeing over 100 games, like, per week. So,
well, Chris organizes my release list, and it's like, hey, I came up with this table format that makes it easy. And I'm like, did I share the table with you guys? I think I did.
I got it.
Yeah,
you got it. What a fucking mess. It's a tower. It's like, this only makes it worse, I think.
Just seeing them all. And like, I haven't heard of most of these either.
There's 60 games coming out today. 60. And that's assuming that we got them all, and we probably didn't.
There's 2 Tycoon games, Automobile Tycoon and Shopping Tycoon, both coming out today.
Bad. Yeah. God, and we've just been trying to wrestle
collector?
with this. Yeah, we're trying to wrestle with this concept of how the hell do we deliver that information to you guys in a way that makes sense and not miss out on something good. Jesse,
Well,
what you got?
I mean, that's going back to the beginning of this hour's conversation. That's the symbiotic nature of YouTubers, streamers, and game developers. And the idea that, you know, even though sometimes we butt heads on shit, at the end of the day, there are games out there that would never, ever, ever be discovered had people not sifted through this stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And created videos showing those games.
Mhm.
Because looking at this list, there's so much shit on here, but you know, in this list of shit, there's like gonna be a few actual good games.
Yeah.
A couple gems, yeah.
Yeah, and not all the time do big media outlets have the time to dig through this bullshit and look for stuff. And I think that it's one of those things where, you know, people can get up in arms and shit all over each other all they want and say like, YouTubers deserve this or game devs are this and whatever. But at the end of the day, everyone got to work together because that's what this industry is. And like, this is the perfect damn example. Looking at this list is insane. There's no way a normal gamer is ever going to see all this stuff. And there's no way most of the devs on this list are ever going to get their shit seen unless someone stumbles upon it and plays it like on a stream for giggles. Like, that's just fact.
Right.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Like, we can be agents of discovery. We can be curators. We can be tastemakers. We're really good at that. Like, YouTube and Twitch is really good for that. And that's why it's so damn important to keep this relationship going and for people to look into this stuff. The concern I've got is that a lot of people just want to watch videos on games they know, and that's reflected in the numbers. When we stream a game you know, the numbers are up. When we do a video on a game you don't know, the numbers are down. For some people, that's okay. For some people, it's not. Some of us can play whatever game we want.
I think long-term, like looking at numbers over time, one of the things I've noticed, especially games that are kind of new and no one really has any clue about, that aren't games where people are like, I gotta know. Maybe not at first people don't watch, but eventually if it becomes something that's like in the ether, people will go check it out and search for it. Because you've covered it, you're out there, and so now you're part of that conversation. You have something to say.
Yes.
And I think, you know, it behooves the content creators of the world to keep trying new things and not just stick with like, you know, that PUBG.
Let's play some PUBG because that's where the money is, which actually is not true for the vast majority of people. Like, a lot of people I see streaming PUBG and like, you got 30 viewers, mate. Like, the big guys for PUBG, they're already established. You missed the boat. If you want to become a big PUBG guy, it's too late. You need to be on that months ago, or you need to be like a pro player. Like Shroud is a great example. Shroud, I believe, is now, as an individual anyway, the most subscribed person on Twitch. He like passed 30,000 subs this month, paying subs. That's a shit ton of money. He came from a pro team, a pro FPS team. He's very good at FPS games. He comes and plays PUBG. It's the perfect storm. Perfect storm. And I'm sorry, but unless you are that, it is too late for you to get good at that game. If you're looking for the next big thing, let me, say this to you. Try making yourself the next big thing as somebody that people trust to say, this is cool. Hey, look at this. This is neat. So that when people tune into your channel, they know they're going to see something neat. That's a pretty cool position to be in. I like that. I'm trying to build that right now, and I'm seeing that with my new series where I'm looking at these games like some of the numbers are pretty low. Okay, I could do a different series and get more, but I love the fact that 100,000 people just went and saw this game that they didn't know before. That's cool. That feels great. That's fulfilling.
Also, September 14th says Divinity Original Sin PC.
Yeah, for 2.
It means 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what?
I don't know, because there's a console version of that thing. I don't know if it's coming out on the same day, so I think that might have something to do with it, but...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, Original Sin 2 is on its way. That's definitely going to be time sync this week, certainly.
Hell yeah.
Rightfully so.
I'm excited about it.
PS4 is getting Maze. That's a great game.
Maze? Oh, is that the one about the sentient
The
corn?
talking corn.
Yes, I thought so. And just on a sort of funny note for the news, Malaysia blocked Steam based on the fact you can beat up Jesus in a fighting game. So that was fun.
Amazing.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That was a real one, a fight of gods or something. It looks like absolute shit, but it's like, hey, we're going to do a 2D fighter where a bunch of gods battle each other, and unlike Smite, that's stuck to ancient gods like Jesus. What could go wrong?
Oh, wow.
Apparently quite a lot.
Amazing.
Yep. That's been cleared up now, but they did, and that did not go down well. Nope. Nope.
I kind of love that. That's great.
It is ridiculous. I think, like, I was noticing in the fighting game, his weapons are 2 pieces of the cross made into gauntlets that he punches people. They're like, oh my god, what? That's just funny. That's
all right.
Tasteless but funny. I'll give him that. Oh, Jesus. So was that. Trying to see what else there was in the news this week. It's like, hell, the biggest piece of news this week is probably there's going to be a patch to PUBG that adds a new gun in it, but I don't really care about that, I'm going to be honest.
Wild.
If anybody who's watching right now doesn't know about it and likes Final Fantasy 14 and has Netflix, there is a show that they made in Japan called Daddy of Light. Actually, I think on Netflix they call it Dad of Light to make it less weird.
Anime.
It's called Dad of Light, and it's about a kid who plays Final Fantasy 14 to connect with his dad.
That sounds pretty great.
Right?
Okay.
It's apparently precious, and I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, I'm
But
all for that.
for anybody else who wants an adorable Japanese show to watch about Final Fantasy 14.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Daddy of Light.
Daddy of Light. That's what they called it in Japan. I assume that when they brought that over here, they were like, could we call it Dad of Light?
It's the sequel to that Ubisoft game, Child of Light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally the same
Yeah, they're
thing.
connected. Absolutely.
Let's see what else is up this week. It's not a great deal.
There's a Nintendo Direct today, isn't there?
I believe so. I'm going to assume it
Yeah.
hasn't. You know, that would be really convenient if that had happened before the show, but hey.
Yeah.
Speak on the Nintendo front, though, they are claiming, yeah, we're totally making more Super Nintendos. Like, this is like the second time they have said this. I think Reggie also said, look, if you're paying more than $90 for this thing on an auction site, don't. We're totally going to stock it, guys, honest. I think I'm going to have to see evidence of that before that happens. But they are going to be restocking the NES Classic in 2018, if you're looking for that. I have to say, after the SNES Classic, I don't see why you'd really want to buy that. Because, frankly, it's shit compared to the Super Nintendo Classic, especially with the lineup. But, sure, some people seem to still want it, so there's that. Still kind of looking forward to my little Super Nintendo Classic. It'll be an opportunity for me to play some stuff that I really didn't get around to playing, like Super Mario RPG.
Oh, yeah, you snagged one, right?
I did, yeah, in the UK. I was thinking, like, do I give it to my brother as a Christmas gift? No, I'm greedy. But, I don't know, there might be a way to get one here as well. But there's just stuff in there. It's like, you know what? I never really played that.
Yeah.
And I could totally just play it on an emulator right now, but wouldn't it be kind of neat to have the sort of original experience, even if it's totally not that?
Yeah,
I
think
guess.
it's super cool. I like that they're doing this.
It's neat. It's got a, it's
Like,
just, it has a
Nintendo's
very
had a
good
pretty
lineup.
good year.
Yeah, I'd say so for the most part. They haven't mostly been screwing up. Their online service is still a complete pile of wank. But outside of that, it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
The Switch is getting some great games. It seems to be doing well with indies. There's new indies coming on that platform every week, and I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'd like that portable. Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really hard for me to go from playing Switch to playing other consoles. PC less so, but it's like, I'm like, man, I wish I could take this with me. Wouldn't that be great? Like Rocket League's coming to Switch, and one of the cool things they're doing with that is like, if you play on PC, you can just cross-play, transfer your account to your Switch and just keep playing on the go. And I think that's awesome. It's like, that's the perfect way to use that console.
Ideal.
It also runs really well on Switch. It doesn't look anywhere near as good, but you know, the thing that said was most important was frame rate. And so that's still pretty solid, and I'm impressed with it.
Good for them on that. It's like, I don't know why people were down. It's like, oh, you can't get that game running on Switch. Just turn the graphics down. Of course you can. Have you never used a PC before? Yes, you can do that. It doesn't have to look as good. It's portable and on a smaller screen. We don't care.
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. As long as it plays well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the thing that bloody matters. Make it. Don't care if it looks like a Mega Drive game at this point, as long as it plays well.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's pretty much it. I cannot find anything else on the news front.
I'm trying to find news as well.
I'm digging.
It's like,
I'm
there's
digging.
not a lot left.
Nah, not
Like,
really.
all I know is, like, I know that PUBG has a new town, Fog, and, yeah, the new weapon.
Mini 14, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's not much else.
I think so, yeah. It's like Fortnite Battle Royale. We kind of touched on that earlier. It's like, I would not be surprised to see other games saying we got a Battle Royale as well, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metroid Samus Returns and Dishonored Death of the Outsider both out this week.
Oh, are they? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know Death of the Outsider was out this week.
It's out on
cool.
the 15th, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty
Ooh.
excited about that, actually. I think it's going to be
Okay.
really interesting. And I love Dishonored 2 so much, so...
You know, I never really got
Hoping
around to
it's
playing it because the
I
release
adored it.
version was a fucking mess
Yeah.
on PC, so
Yeah.
that was an issue. Jess, you know a lot more about Dishonored than I do. This new expand alone, is it the kind of thing that you can play separately, or should you really play Dishonored 2 first? Do you know
Play
anything about
Dishonored
that?
1,
Yes, I finished Dishonored 1, yes.
then you can play it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, maybe I just do that then.
I mean, real talk, Dishonored 2 pretty much was like a little bit added of the first big DLC for Dishonored 1. Like, it took that storyline. I think at the end of the day, the DLC or the standalone is just straight up like, you don't necessarily need to play Dishonored 2 at all in order to understand what's going on if you played the first one.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't even need to play the first one necessarily. Like, I imagine it'll contextualize who the outsider is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think playing one would have helped.
If anything, playing 2 for me makes it worse because this one does, like, the changes I made when I got time travel in 2 are not carried over into this. And so I am not okay with that. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
I'm busting my ass to fix some shit. So, yeah. I'm never okay. This and Deus Ex and all the games where it's like, you can either be a badass killer or super sneaky and not kill anyone. I'm like, I'm going to not kill anyone and go for the good endings. And then every trailer's like, murder and guys exploding. And I'm like, not my Corvo.
I didn't do the fun part of this. Yeah. I might check that out. Well, we'll move on to releases as we're pretty much there anyway. God, yeah, well, we're going to dig through this and see what we can find, definitely. September the 12th, which is today. What the fuck in this pile of crap is worth having a look at? Well, Tooth and Tail, we did talk about earlier. That's certainly worth a look.
Maze
on the PS4.
Matryoshka Strike. What is that?
Well, I don't know what Matryoshka Strike is, but I'm sure
It's
we
bad.
can... Oh, okay, thanks.
There's a game called Hurl VR. I'm like, well, I don't know if I would ever name a VR game Hurl, but all right.
Yep, I think that definitely puts a certain expectation on people. There's a new NASCAR game today, NASCAR Heat.
Yeah, Pro Evolution Soccer 2018 as well. People care about that.
They do, in a great way, PS4, and actually PS3. This is a big example of, like, they still make the old football games for the previous gen consoles, because they still sell a decent amount.
Yeah. I'm looking at what Dragon's Lunch is because I like the name.
Dragon's Lunch.
Dragon's Lunch.
I'm looking up Defend the Cake.
It's
Tower defense, but with a cake.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Dragon's Lunch just looks like a really crappy roguelike.
yeah, it says a real-time roguelike game.
Yep. Speaking
Explore
of
the depths to
rogue,
get your golf ball back. Yeah.
there's a kind of neat-looking thing that's a bit... it's a bit of a blocky kind of game called Rogue Islands, fast-paced first-person shooter with magic and monsters in a procedural fantasy wilderness kind of thing. So it's like, hey, we kind of look a little bit like Minecraft, but shinier, maybe. This might be okay. So that might be worth looking at. Surprisingly, it's not in early access, so that might be worth a look.
Yo, check out Manifest 99. What
Manifest 99.
a bizarrely artistic and interesting game.
This is a VR game. That's a sheep for some
Ooh,
reason.
this looks cool.
Right?
Let me see if I can bring it up on the
What?
screen for you. Yep, here we go.
I want to play this.
Eerie
Yeah.
VR story set on a train rumbling through the afterlife, accompanied by a murder of crows and 4 mysterious travel companions. Apparently one of them's a bear. Oh my god, the art style for this. Holy shit.
Right? How cool is this?
Yeah. Ah. Wow. that might be worth looking at if you have a VR headset. Not too pricey either. $6 VR experience is pretty rare these days, especially a good looking one.
There's
Cool.
a game called Insert Paper, which the description on Steam just says, you don't know who or where you are, the papers are there, and the computers are asking you to insert paper. Your job here is simple. Arrange the documents considering the information required by the reader machines. To me, it looks like a point-and-click adventure inspired, maybe slightly Papers, Please inspired thing. It looks interesting. I'm watching the trailer. Insert paper.
Looks like there's a bit of Stanley Parable in on this as well, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's testing your bureaucratic and organizational skills, apparently, if you want to do that for whatever reason. Okay, seems all right. See if there's anything else today. Like I said, there's those 2 Tycoon games. There's so many bad Tycoon games. I love Tycoon games, but they suck. Automobile...
Literally, what is Shopping Tycoon? You could just go shopping. Give me a Tycoon is something I can't do.
Yeah, Automobile Tycoon looks awful and the trailer looks bad. I mean, I wouldn't mind setting up a... Oh, yeah, it's to build a shopping mall. That's...
Right, okay, that's all right.
Looks a bit like... what's the name of that game? Sim Tower, actually. I'd be actually into that. I'll have to check it out.
I don't know what the hell this game is, but Dukes, I feel like this is something we're gonna have to play. Dujana?
What?
Yeah, I saw that one, Dujana.
Dujanah.
Oh, yeah.
A clay punk adventure game.
Yep.
Oh my
What
god.
the shit.
The art style is all
What
clay.
the-
This was
But-
a Kickstarter game, apparently.
Ha.
Crazy
All
town.
right, there we go.
Well, that's
Yep.
sure a thing. Yeah. No doubt about that.
There's a game on the 13th called The Land of Pain. It claims that it's a Lovecraftian horror game, but none of the screenshots have anything other than like atmosphere.
Wait, which
and
one
that
was
always
that?
makes me nervous. It's called The Land of Pain.
Oh, because I looked up The Nightmare from Beyond, and I think that also said it was Lovecraftian.
Of course. It's a
Yeah.
good buzzword.
A lot of these games, like, this is a lot of very pretty walking, but what the hell is the rest of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So there is that.
Yeah, Dujana looks pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's another game on the 13th called Ersatz, ERSATZ. Looks like
Yeah.
a pretty cool, like bright platformer.
Minimalist action platformer with a dynamically progressive soundtrack, whatever that means. Looks pretty slick. Like, it looks like they've got the controls look pretty tight, if the trailer's anything to go by. So that could be satisfying for some people. What the fuck is Samurai Riot? I have to know.
It looked okay.
Yeah. Like a
2D cooperative beat 'em up with a twist.
where you can kill civilians, I guess, is what it's saying. But,
Okay,
like,
well,
I do. I think it'd be awesome.
would you sacrifice your honor? I mean, it looks like a narrative arcade beat 'em up. I mean, I like my beat 'em ups, I have to admit. But I'm interested in... Yeah, so there's apparently multiple scenarios and stuff, and you make moral choices to take you down different paths, so it doesn't look too bad. I don't think the fighting system looks particularly slick, I have to admit. So that's a bit of an issue, but...
There's a VR underwater zoo game that Jesse
Ooh.
should never play called Ocean Rift.
oh, yeah, Ocean Rift, yeah, I think it's been out for a little while.
Has it?
Yeah, I think it was on Oculus for a while. Maybe this is just a Vive version. Oh, have a look at Epic Tavern. There's been quite a few games that have tried this. It's a fantasy management RPG where you rule the land from your tavern, recruit heroes, send them on quests. This looks pretty legit.
What's it called?
Epic Tavern.
Epic Tavern.
Yeah. Like, graphic, I like the art style, definitely. Pretty slick UI. This, like I said, there's definitely a lot of games that do this. Quite a few of them are clickers, but this looks like it might be a proper management game, so I'm liking the look of that a little bit.
This one's also a Kickstarter. Wow, raised $68,000 of a $40,000 goal on Kickstarter.
Not
That's pretty
bad.
rad.
Steam Tactics. Anything that has the word tactics in it, I usually pay attention to. Ooh. Welcome aboard your airship, Captain. There's a corgi flying an
Bless you,
airship.
I'm sorry, did you say corgi?
Yeah, it looks like a corgi flying an airship from what I can tell. It's an airship combat game, but there's animals flying them for some reason. So,
Sold.
yeah, there you go. I'm definitely a bit into that kind of thing. So yeah, that might work.
Neo boom. I'm looking up like loads of these, and most of them.
Most of them
look great,
shit.
but-
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh, another one on the 14th is called Little Kite.
Little Kite.
Dude, the art in this looks fucking rad. I think Jesse would like to play this game too.
A game about one tragic evening in an unsuccessful family when emotions and tensions are simply too high to manage. Skipping through to actually see the art because the trailer has frozen on us. There we go. Oh, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
That's very well drawn. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these hand-drawn games, but it's nice to see that level of detail on a lot of this.
Yeah, lots of like background elements and stuff is nice.
That's cool. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Earthlock is on Wii U of all places. Right, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing Earthlock a while ago. That looked pretty cool. Kingdom is coming to Switch. That's a good platform for Kingdom, I think. That'll work pretty well. I personally did not like that game. I thought it was way too simple, but some people really dug it.
Yeah, Sam and I both really liked it.
Let's see.
What about on the 14th, The First Tree?
The First Tree. Okay.
I looked up a plot story because I thought that name was interesting. Doesn't look great.
No.
The First Tree.
Oh, won some stuff at the Indie Mega booth for PAX West this year, apparently.
I
It's
feel
this.
like
I feel like I've seen this
I've
before.
seen this before.
This looks cute.
Maybe it never came out.
Maybe it didn't. Yeah, because you play a fox in it. I've definitely seen this somewhere before. Maybe it was in a promo for other indie games.
Yeah.
This looks gorgeous, yeah.
Says it tells two parallel stories: a fox trying to find her missing family, and a son reconnecting with his estranged father in Alaska. Looks really cute.
It's cool. Wait, Space Explorers, is that coming out of early access finally? Or was that a different game entirely? I guess I was thinking of something else. Wow! Okay, I did not expect to see that immediately upon loading that page. All right then. Great.
Boobs?
What was
Yeah,
it?
Boobs game?
boobs
game
is what we got here.
Nice.
Space Explorers, yes. Apparently there's I didn't know this, there's actually a category on Steam right now for sexual content games. Apparently that's just there now, which is probably for the best. Put them all in one place. Also, why does she look so oily? Huh. People don't
Y'all
look,
look
that's
Space.
not, skin does not look that way.
Pretty.
Space is slick. Yeah.
Yeah. River City Melee. So River City Ransom, that new version came out a while ago. Is this anything to do with that? River City Melee is the latest installment of the franchise. Oh, they made a fighting game out of it. Cool, rather than a brawler.
Can we Can we go back to Space Exploration for a
No,
minute?
we can't, because it's
I need-
garbage and bait, and you know it is.
I need to address this.
God damn it. Come
My
on,
very
don't give me
first- Go to the
attention.
About Game section, and it literally
Fine.
says, a deep and heartbreaking storyline that touches many interesting themes and topics.
I
And
don't
the
believe that for a
chapter is
second.
Just boobs. Now that's there you
That's
go.
now that's marketing.
Well,
There
I
are-
think boobs are many interesting themes and topics.
True.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you can touch many interesting things and topics with it, no doubt, but
Ready to play
in
it.
this case, no. People just put games up on Steam for a joke these days. Like, it doesn't even matter.
So funny.
All right, let's move swiftly on. I wanted to know what guitar hardness is. I have to ask.
It's just a Guitar Hero
music
game,
rhythm
but
game.
like with sprites.
Yeah, kind of Kawaii soft looking sprites.
Yeah, I
don't know.
imagine if Guitar
Yes.
Hero's your jam, this could be like a new added
It's a low rhythm
element
game.
of like I'm performing in front of like a straight crowd. And
Okay.
I guess there's stuff there.
Yeah, let's see. What's on the 15th? A lot. What's good on the 15th? Well, Metroid Samus Returns, obviously. NBA 2K18 coming out on most platforms, including Switch, NBA Live, NHL 18. So apparently this is Sports Day. And for...
Crap Attack. What's that?
No, I'm not going to indulge that. You know exactly what that is. Dishonored Death of the Outsider coming out on the 15th as well. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in this list that looks any good. Oh, I've heard of Devil Guns. I'd heard something about that. Yeah.
Oh, The Witch's Isle is also out too, which we talked about last week. So I don't know if we talk about it again, but I guess they moved that.
Oh yeah, Devil
Oh,
Guns is
yeah,
like a
yeah,
first-person
yeah.
shooter bullet hell thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. What? So Witch's Isle, you said?
The Witch's Isle.
The
Yeah, we
Witch's
looked at it
Isle.
last week.
Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
guess they
it was
pushed it
worth having a
back.
look again. Oh, that one. Yes, yeah, that one looks okay. What else we got in here?
What is Wooden Ocean? Wood and Ocean Year 2. All right, I'm confused.
I guess.
I've got to say it's the worst logo of all time. It's an RPG Maker game by the looks of it. Hard to say. It's an open world dungeon crawler set on the edge of the world where no sunlight ever reaches or something. Early access. Yeah, it looks a little janky, honestly.
Metroid is back.
Yes, Metroid Samus Returns on 3DS. Yep, that's a big release this week. The Meridian Shard. What's that all about?
You know, I thought that Curvy was going to wind up being a booby
Nothing.
game, and it's not. It's a puzzle game.
Okay.
I was,
So there you go.
I was disappointed too.
Yep. Slight disappointment on that one. Yeah, well, that's Meridian Shard isn't even coming up, so screw that. On the 16th, not much in that really looks worth looking at, really.
Hold on. Galaxy Girls.
Oh, for fuck's
There's a
sake.
game on the 16th called Super Perspective, and the main character literally looks like the girl from Little Nightmares, and I'm so confused.
Oh,
Galaxy Girls is yet another
Galaxy
bullshit
Girls is
visual
the exact
novel.
same premise as the other game.
Of course
How
it
come
is.
Everyone be waking up on spaceships not knowing who they are, surrounded by girls.
It's
Why does this happen to everyone but me?
visual novels are just, they're a plague. Like, they're so easy to
just blame
fucking
anime.
make. You
Like,
hire
yeah,
one artist,
blame
throw a bunch of
anime.
shit together, put some titillation in it, have a couple of endings, then release it. You can literally get a thing which lets you make a visual novel with no coding experience. It's
That's
completely
the
possible.
game I want to make.
Then go do it, you lazy bastard.
I will.
Go
When I
do it.
become unlazy.
Yes, you lazy bastard. What is this? Freshly fried shrimp, seamed hot, addition. What is this? Am
What?
What?
I'm working it. Hang on. The whole. Okay, it's called freshly fried shrimps, seamed hot, additionally named Noth.
Freshly.
Okay.
additionally
Oh
named
my-
Noth.
Oh my
Additionally.
Okay, what's going on here?
It's an RPG Maker game. A laughably 2D RPG. I'll certainly agree with that. Made in RPG Maker. Thanks for possibly the silliest name I've ever seen for a thing, ever. That's a
The
thing.
main playable character is a standard shrimp. What's
Okay.
a standard shrimp?
As opposed to what? What are you trying to say? You trying to say all shrimps aren't beautiful? Because they're not. They're hideous hell beasts, but okay.
I've looked up every game on the 17th, and they're all garb. So
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Oh god, American Patriots Boston Tea Party. That's like, that could be terrible. Let's double check. I was like, please be a fun history. Huh, this actually looks way better than I expected. It's a kind of board game, war game-esque thing, but they actually have like little plastic kind of figures and stuff. So it's kind of a simplified hex war game with a hot seat mode. Yeah, this actually looks way better than I thought it would. That's cool.
have y'all looked at Octopus Bar yet? Did I miss that?
No.
Y'all should look at Octopus Bar.
Okay, so it's free to play.
Free to play, not bad.
Yep. So enter the magical Isaiah whatever the fuck weeb thing bar hidden deep in the magical forest where the octopus serves you. Fish float into the sky and a frog enjoys your company while smoking his pipe. In this world, the impossible is now possible, and you are invited to discover the games and enjoy this whimsical scenery.
Excellent.
It's a VR game. Apparently, it's the Octopus Bar. You get to be in it.
Look at that cute little octopus.
The octopus will ask you to chase and catch a chicken for him to cook, feed your frog friend the chicken, and why not give him a little tickle?
Why not?
Shoot all the balloon fish with your ninja star crossbow. Find and shoot
What?
all the hidden Teru Bozu ghosts, and set the dragon free. All right, we went from catching a chicken and setting a dragon free.
It all's making sense to me.
It's
All right.
It's free. You might as well. It's apparently a
Yeah.
full-on room scale game. They say like its purpose is to introduce VR in a fun and easy way to people who never tried it. That's kind of neat. Sure, cool. Good for you. That looks kind of cool for a few minutes. Oh god, anything else? The Caribbean Sail. I always like
so
things
what's
with
with the
boats
games
in
that
them.
start with Achievement Hunter? Does that mean something?
Ignore them.
I
Ignore
don't
them
understand
all.
what that means at all. I've been
It's
looking it up too.
Basically, this shovelware company's been shoveling these things out on a weekly basis that are like, get this game and get 1,000 fucking Steam achievements. That's literally
Right.
all it is. It's
That
garbage.
sucks.
Yeah, it really is. It's
It's kind of a
fucking.
way to like ruin a game. Like it makes me not want to play it. But-
Yeah, it's awful. Like, they're literally just non-games. The Caribbean Sail is basically an Oregon Trail-like game, so that wasn't what I was looking for.
Also remember to skip the 19th because the 19th is next Tuesday.
Yes, yeah, it is. So I think that's probably about it. I don't know. We may have missed something, but you're gonna have to forgive us on that one because there's so many games. God, over 200 of the bloody things this week. But there are surprisingly more good things in there than I thought. So keep an eye out for Tooth and Tail. Keep an eye out for Dishonored. Keep an eye out for Metroid, of course. And there's a few other little things coming on as well.
Boy, some of these games are terrible. God.
Yeah, you act like that's a surprise.
No, I'm just shocked that they still make terrible games.
I looked up one that was called Durak because it reminded me of Turok. It's just a card game. I was very disappointed. No dinosaurs involved at all.
Yeah. Oh, apparently the Homestuck game Hive Swap is coming out on the 14th or something. I had no idea what that was. It also was not on the release list for some reason. I have no idea what that is.
Hive Swap? What the
Yeah, I don't know anything about Homestuck, I have to admit. But apparently it's some sort of big deal.
Hive Swap, an adventure game.
Yep, coming out in a couple of days.
All I know is everybody that I know that used to love Homestuck and now hates Homestuck that has tried the demo of this has been like, fuck.
Fuck
I
in
hate
what way?
Homestuck, but this is fun.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, it's sort of point-and-click adventure. It seems to be based in that world. All right. Yeah, somehow that was not on the release list. I don't know why, but there we go. We mentioned it now. So you can stop shouting about it in the chat. Thank you. Because you are definitely not making us believe that Homestuck fan bases are not the worst. So stop it. Stop it. Apparently it's been 5 years in dev. Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. I think that's pretty much about it for the show today.
All right.
Yeah, but all right, we'll just end the show on that. But we would love to tell you where to go to find our content. So, Alanah, thank you very much for spending the time and battling through the internet connection issues to talk with us. Good to have you back on the show after so many years.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Very good. What are you working on at the moment? Where can we find your material? I know you have your own channel, but you also work with a lot of other places as well.
I'm on all of the social networks at Charalamazard, which is just my name in the middle of Charizard, for anyone who doesn't know.
Oh.
Yeah. My last YouTube video was actually, I hosted the cosplay competition for the BioShock 10th anniversary party at PAX West, which was very, very cool. Like, it was an incredibly cool night. Aside from that, I'm currently working on a bunch of embargoed stuff, but I always share links to any game I preview on Twitter, so you guys can see that stuff when it publishes.
Cool.
Very good. Jesse, what you got coming up this week?
Yo, I'm back from my little vacay, so I am going to, you'll see the end of Life is Strange with Duger and I, and you're going to see some more fun games and stuff like that coming down the pipeline, and then I have some Scary Game Squad stuff coming up. You know, the huge kids. You know, the huge. And tomorrow is episode 4 of Good Game.
Yeah.
It's the streaming episode, so you can write to me if you...
How appropriate considering this week, but okay. We'll see how that goes.
If you feel like we've hit too many nerves. And I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching.
Hit up Jesse at totalbiscuit.com /
Thanks.
tbcracker@hotmail.com.
Stop whining about the dogs.com.
Stop whining about the dogs.com.
Stop whining about the dogs.com.
Yep, that's the way to go. Dodger, what are you coming up this week? What's going on?
Well, this weekend we will be in Tejas for Roleplay Nebula Jazz Live, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So a couple of streams won't be happening, but yeah, I'm normally streaming. You can find me at twitch.tv/dexbonus. And press start to continue. My YouTube has been a little bit dead, but I swear it's not dead forever. I've been coming up with lots of stupid goofs, so keep your eyes peeled. And I have a really cool announcement in the next couple of days. So keep an ear peeled for that as well. Just peel everything in preparation for the stupid shit I have.
Get to peeling.
Yeah. And otherwise, have a great day. That's all.
Cool. Should be some content coming this week. Definitely want to be looking at Tooth and Tail sooner rather than later. Probably won't be today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see what we can do with that. There's a couple of other things that I definitely want to look at. Might dive in on Dishonored this week. There is something coming at the weekend that I can't tell you about yet. I can tell you about it on Friday. But I'm going to be streaming all weekend something really, really awesome and something you will probably very much like. So keep an eye out for that. And I will tell you when I'm allowed to tell you. As to when the next Shoutcraft Kings tournament is, I don't quite know yet. Hopefully either the second of last week or the last week of this month. I'll keep you posted on that. We just don't have a confirmation on it yet. Oh, what else? There were other things. Yes, a reminder that if you want to subscribe to any of us on Twitch this week, it is 50% off if you are either a new sub or someone that has lapsed by 32 days, I think. So just over a month. You'll be able to get a discounted subscription, and if you missed any of the show this week, you can catch it early right now on the VODs. So you can subscribe for that if you so desire. And one last thing, on Friday, I'm going to be on Angry Centaur Gaming's podcast. That is, I don't know if they do that live yet, but if not, it will be on their show. So I'm going to be on that. Be talking about probably airsoft and board games and video games and all sorts of other things. So I'll be there, and that should be fun as well. That is probably about it, I think. I think that pretty much covers everything. Hopefully we haven't missed too many things out. It's entirely possible. But everything's just very busy right now, so please understand. Big thanks to our sponsor today, Squarespace. Squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% on your first order. This has been the Co-optional Podcast. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.